Okay, so I think we're live. It is 1:06. Sorry, I'm a little late. I've been doing other stuff around the house here. It's 8/3/2025. We're in August. Let's see here. We got Paula's in here. Hi, Paula. How are you? Good to see you. Mustang's in here. Sweet dude Shibby. Good to see Mustang. Good to see Shibby in here. We got who else is in here? Hold on a second. We got Heather Brown. There's Heather Brown. How are you, Heather? Good to see you. Hope you're okay. Let's see who else is in here. We got 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's see who else we got in here. Mino Dino's in here. Hey, Mino Dino, good to see you, buddy. Hope everybody's well. Fur Baby Daddy's in here. Good to see Fur Baby Daddy. Who else? I know I saw Doodlebug. Barbara Hall's in here. Hey, Barbara, good to see you. Hope you're well, Barbara. Let's see here. Who else is in here? I think I just saw Beasley's in here. Good to see Beasley. Hope everybody's well. Let's see. Doodlebug's here. Hi, Doodlebug. Good to see you. Doodlebug's got a great channel. Awesome channel here. I try to make as many lives as I possibly can. Miranda's in here too. Hey, Miranda, how are you? Peggy O's in here. Good to see Peggy O. It's Southern Gal. Hey, Southern Gal, how are you? Good to see you. And then we got Carol's in here. Is Charles in here? Charles is in here. Karen Lee's in here. Good to see Karen Lee. Dee Dee's in here. Dirty Diana is in here. Had a great live this morning. Didn't catch all of it, but I caught some of it. All right, so it's Barbara's birthday. Happy birthday, Barbara. I don't have a birthday song. But happy birthday. I got to do that. I got to create a birthday song. Good to see Karen Lee in here. Happy birthday to Barbara. And I got Heather's GoFundMe scrolling across the bottom here. All right, so I'm going to go over some of the true crime cases of the week. I do want to get into, and I've been promising to do this for the longest time, but I think I'm going to do it tonight. It's the Barbara Cotton story. And then I'm going to go into an update on a missing person case that we've covered here a few times. So we'll do that. Tracy's in here. Where's Tracy? Good to see Tracy. Who's Your Daddy's in here. Good to see Who's Your Daddy. He was on the live this morning with Dirty Diana and Charles. So let me play an intro and I'll get right back into this here. Like I said, it's good to see everybody. Hope everybody's having a good week. What the hell am I doing here? All right, let me play an intro and I'll be right back. Be right back. Okay, so that's the end of that. It's good to see so many people in here. I got 22 people in here. That's amazing. Like I said, it's good to see everybody. Hope everybody's had a good week. There's a lot of shit going on, a lot of cases, a lot of really, strange. Thank you, Karen. Appreciate that. A lot of strange things going on, a lot of missing people, a lot of unalivings for absolutely no apparent reason. But first thing at first, I want to get into the Sade Robinson thing. So let me hide my face. Like this here, I think. Yeah, right. That. Okay, good. Like I said, it's good to see Heather here. Hope Heather's well. I got her GoFundMe scrolling across the bottom here. She's not feeling all that well, so we got the GoFundMe up. Heather Brown's an amazing person. Just going to do the best we can for Heather. So let's do this first. I do want to. This is for those who have been with us for a while. We've done a lot on the Sade Robinson thing. She was unalived. I think it was it Illinois? But anyways, this guy, she went out with this guy, Maxwell Anderson here. And he basically unalived her and spread her body parts all over the place. So I'm going to play, should we play? Let's do this one first.
Relative to sentencing, I have a job. And what my job is to do is to hold you accountable. That's to punish you.
We'll do this one first. This is he got sentenced to life in prison without parole for murder of Sade Robinson. You guys know about this one. A jury convicted Maxwell Anderson on June 6th for first-degree intentional homicide, mutilation of a corpse, and arson. And the brutal April 2nd, I can't believe it was 2024. Can't believe it was that long ago. Sade Carleen, I didn't know she had a middle name. Robinson, 19. He basically dismembered her in Milwaukee. So I was wrong. It was Milwaukee. And we'll listen to this for a little bit. Then we'll listen to, I want to play the father's impact statement here. So let's go with this.
It's to protect society. It's to find a way that you never come back here again to rehabilitate you. And it's to deter others from engaging in like behavior. At the point of sentencing, I have to look at different factors. I have to look at your past record. And I'll agree with the defense that the prior record on its face is not as egregious as many cases I see in my courtroom. Quite often you see a background filled with felonies and violence. But what I said was on its face. When you look at the record as it's
so good to see Southern Gal in here. Southern Gal for a while. I know people have been busy. It's summertime. I wanted outside tonight, but it's like 20 below zero out. I can't believe it's this cold out. It's really awful. But it's always good to see Southern Gal in here. Southern Gal has an amazing channel. As do others here in the chat. I know Necessarial Evil's in here. Dirty Diana's in here. There's a lot of great channels in here. So feel free to throw your links up in here. Doodlebug's great too. She's in here. Paula's in here.
It's worked through in the investigation. I'll agree with the state that there are some red flags that jump out at you that that show a level of violence that maybe it may have been a precursor. You know, when you look at the original case mentioned from Pewaukee from March of 2010, it looks like it's an underage. They find a bunch of people hiding and they indicate they're about to do a search. And later there's people saying that they were being held in the home against their will. Kind of a weird comment to have on an underage drinking party. Ultimately, they find Mr. Anderson hiding behind an entertainment center. He's belligerent. He tells the police, "Fuck you. I hope you're proud to serve your country this way." He's then very coarse and his comments are obscene. He then urinates in a police vehicle and calls a female police officer a cunt. Inappropriate. Then we have the 2014 case.
gonna be a little disturbing here with some foul language. Sorry about that.
Case where that involves the mother, where officers are dispatched to a location. They enter the home, they see, they make contact with the mother. She indicates that her son was in the kitchen. Officers approach and the response is, "What are you gonna do, shoot me?" And he runs out the door. He then jumps into his mother's vehicle and apparently steals the mother's vehicle and drives off. The mother indicates that when she returned home from work, he was acting strange. He was sweating profusely. He argued, he punched a vase, he caused it to fall to the floor. She calls her ex-husband. He pushes the mother into a room and shuts the door. He prevents her from exiting. He then breaks the phone. He's continuing to scream and yell and throw things, at which point she calls the police. Ultimately, what we find is that he returns to the residence. He gets into a physical altercation with Mr. Foos. She's informed that he had crashed her vehicle into the deck at the rear of the residence and fled on foot. Ultimately, we find that the mother's fiance confronts Mr. Anderson and he throws that person to the ground. He's able to get back.
It's been nice here too. Like July is probably one of the hottest Julys we've had here in a while. But tonight, it's not so nice. It's pretty freaking cold out. And let's hope it gets a little bit warmer here.
Back in the house and to prevent Mr. Anderson from getting in. He suffered 3 to 4 broken ribs as a result of the altercation. Ultimately, they have to meet with Mr. Anderson at the hospital because it appears he suffered a broken collarbone. He's convicted ultimately of disorderly conduct because he says Mr. Foos pushed him down the stairs as he tried to gather his belongings. It's interesting when you see Mr. Anderson's comment about that because he just says that Mr. Foos just poked him. Sounds like a bit of a discrepancy there. Then we go on and we find the issue with the grandparents. And the grandparents call the police and they say that he needs someone to talk to about his mental health and that he's smashing a glass in the sink, causing it to break. He goes in the basement, he punches a hole in the wall. He breaks the other phones. They have to go to a landline at a neighbor's, ultimately to call the police.
This guy, Maxwell Anderson, is weird as shit. Like this guy here, it's just too bad that this person here, Sade Robinson, didn't know about this guy.
It just sounds like he is to some extent out of control. He's ultimately on probation. He's given conditions of no drinking. He's given conditions of having anger management counseling. He tells the agent other people probably deserve to do anger management. I don't. He then goes on and tests positive repeatedly. To look at his explanations are ridiculous. At one point, he claims that he accidentally grabbed someone else's Red Bull that had liquor in it. But going through the repeated indication, it sounds like Mr. Anderson's the guy that does what he wants, when he wants, and he follows his own rules, not the rules imposed on him. And that's a frightening thing. You know, I read through the defendant's version of what happened. And it starts off by indicating that he was skeptical to meet with the pre-sentence.
Just the opposite, like the heat. For some reason, the heat with me, like when I'm in Florida, it's awesome because the air is so much, I don't know, the air just seems the air's better. The warmer the air, the better for me. The dry air's not good. Especially dry, cool air just doesn't do well for me. But I know most people like it a little cooler. It can't get hot enough for me, man. But I should probably move out of New England then, but I can't.
Investigator, because he did not receive a fair trial. And there's no reason to believe that this writer's report would be fair or impartial. You know, speaking about the trial, there's a constitutional right to a trial. Every person charged with the crime has a constitutional right to a trial. And we do not in any way penalize anyone for going to trial. It's also a constitutional right to be represented by counsel. And Attorney Cotton did his job, which is just his job to represent Mr. Anderson. That's under our Constitution, the rights that exist. Now, you get credit for taking responsibility. You get credit for resolving a case early. You get credit for stepping forward and saying what I did was wrong. Because usually this first step in rehabilitation is taking of responsibility. And we didn't have that here. That's why it's important to read what his version is. So you heard him say today that he didn't commit this crime. What he said about the offense was that they met for food and drinks and they proceeded to his apartment. And that's pretty much all there is to say, he said. He offered no other information as to what transpired that night. He later said that he regretted he did not walk Miss Robinson to her vehicle when she left his apartment, and he believed it was at that point she was abducted by an unknown assailant, quote, either from the alley or from my backyard, unquote. When asked,
We get 8 weeks of summer here, and I want my fucking 8 weeks of summer. Pardon the French. And if I don't get 8 weeks of summer, I'm not a happy person. So if August is going to suck, that's going to suck.
how he accounted for his presence in the area where Miss Robinson's vehicle was set on fire, Mr. Anderson said that he was set up. He stated he was in the area.
Jocelyn's here. Hey, Jocelyn, good to see you. Jocelyn's amazing. It's good to see Jocelyn. Hope you're well.
To buy marijuana, and quote, and all it would have taken was for someone to know where I lived and where I'd be in the morning, unquote. He would not tell the writer when or how he made the arrangements to purchase the marijuana, and then instead stated, quote, I plead the fifth. He then went on to point to things that he claimed were egregious errors at the trial. He claimed that there was a video that showed the photos on the phone and that the state only played stills of the video. That wasn't the evidence at trial. Am I correct?
Yes.
He claims that the still photo that showed his hand grasping Miss Robinson's breast was part of a video, and it was only a still that was shown. Incorrect, correct?
You're correct.
Okay. He indicated that at trial, it was flaunted, the difference in age. And when I read that, I was somewhat shocked because I didn't really find that that was pointed out at all during trial. I mean, it was mentioned how old she was, but other than that, I didn't think that that was in any way an issue, and it barely even made it into my notes. So I thought my point is, I thought it was interesting how his view of reality seems different from what I find truly transpired. And I found it at numerous points during the pre-sentence investigation. You know, looking through this pre-sentence investigation, his viewpoints were very inconsistent with the reality. You know, I think the first issue relative to the mother's fiance, that was credibility. You know, it sounds like he lied to law enforcement. You know, he's asked, have you ever been...
Give me a very small beach chair, an umbrella, a margarita, and an umbrella in the margarita, and a white sand beach, preferably in Naples, Fort Myers, somewhere around there. Beach, and I'm happier than a clam and shit, man. It's that would be amazing.
Involved in mental health treatment? Have you ever been in a mental health facility? Have you ever received treatment? He responds in the negative, but then we have the mother indicating that he was in an outpatient at Rogers. He indicates that he never made a suicidal attempt or had an ideology of said. But then we read about in the Navy how he was dismissed from the Navy due to a medical release, which appears to be related to the suicidal attempt in trying to hang himself. You have him saying about school, I did okay, but then you look at the history of how he did in school and his grades were pretty abysmal. And just odd things, like he talks about how he purchased the home himself for $160,000, but the mother says, no, I told the dad to buy him the
What the
home.
hell is going on? Oh, how could Dino be an asshole? That's just, oh, that's too funny. Huh.
It just seems like he has a different view of reality than the rest of the world does. So when I look at the criminal history, which I'm bound to do, it reflects low-level misdemeanors, but the facts underlying those low-level misdemeanors are replete with points that raise your concern. I next have to look at whether he has a history of undesirable behavior, and I think I've charted through what basically I found in the pre-sentence investigation. As to his personality, character, and social traits, it appears that he has had employment. That's a positive. It looks like he jumps between bartending jobs at numerous facilities. But who is a person who would do this crime? You know, what's the character underlying that? How can someone get to a
This literally wouldn't be a chat without Mino and Heather and Sweet Dude Chibi. I mean, it's what makes it, it's comical for sure.
point of inflicting such damage on a person, not only killing the person, but then dismembering? And then after that,
I remember this case because I remember they kept finding body parts everywhere. So I was thinking that there was more than one victim, that there was some sort of an SKer running around, but it was just one person.
discarding the body throughout the community. It's unconscionable, is where it comes down to. I did read the letters that were supplied on behalf of Mr. Anderson, and I do agree. They paint a picture of a man who helped his family when in need, who cared for animals, who went out of his way to love and support his family. But they love him, and that's clear. And that weighs
Steve.
on his behalf. You know, the fact that there are people out.
All right, hold on a minute. It's Steve. True Crime Web is here. Oh my God. Good to see Steve. Holy crap. I'm honored to have Mr. Steve here in the chat. Hold on a second. Speaking of hot weather, I know why Florida's stand your ground state. It's too hot and humid to run away. And you get the toll booths everywhere. I mean, you can go broke just going down the street in Florida. It's good to see Mr. Steve here. Good Lord. We haven't seen you in a while, buddy. John Paul's here too. John Paul doesn't have a wrench again. Good Lord. We're just going over this Sade Robinson case here. I do want to get to the father's impact statement, though, so I'm going to play this for a few minutes. You got, I think this is the sentencing for that.
Out there that care and love him, that says something good. You know, quite often we do trials or we go to sentencing and there's no one here on the behalf of a defendant, which is really tragic and sad. So it says something good that a family does still care about him. I have reviewed the pre-sentence and I've taken into consideration what's stated therein.
Well, this is a good day. I mean, it's always a good day when you see Mr. Steve, but I've been thinking about coming down there, making sure you've been okay, because I haven't seen or heard from you in like weeks. Luis Cuevas is in here too. Hey, Luis, good to see you. Been busy, almost caught up. You haven't been burning down any more kitchens, have you? Just kidding. Oh, just kidding. It's always good to see Mr. Steve. Holy crap. This is a good day.
I have to look at whether you're remorseful, and I don't think you're remorseful in any way. I don't think that you have gotten to the point of taking any form of responsibility for what transpired.
Who cares if he's remorseful? I mean, he just murdered somebody, cut her up into tiny bits and pieces, and basically dumped her all over Milwaukee. I mean, who cares if he's remorseful or not? Just zip up the bag on this guy.
You know, the investigation that was conducted in this case, it was a dedication by numerous law enforcement officers to work tirelessly to put together the pieces to determine exactly what happened underlying this matter. You know, I do think that jury trials, they do re-victimize the victims. You know, it's hard to sit and watch a trial. It's hard to see the details, and it's hard, you know, not even to have known Miss Robinson, to wipe from my mind what you saw during that trial. And I didn't love her. I didn't know her, but you did. And that's a hard last thing to have in your minds. So I do understand how trials do re-victimize the victims.
Who is this person that's sitting next to her? Is that like the court clerk or something like that?
So when I look at the character of the defendant, I find the character wanting. When I look to the severity of the offense underlying this matter, I do sit in homicide court, and I can tell you on a daily basis, you don't understand why things happen. You know, almost every case, the victims come in and they want to know why. Why did it happen? Why did you have to do this? Why did you have to get to that point? And more often than not, there's no
Judge
answer.
Junior.
We never know. It never makes sense. There's never do you walk away and say, oh, I understand why that transpired. It just doesn't happen. I can also tell you that
I should have known to ask Tracy.
you know, I've read through all these letters, and they talk about give us justice, right? Give us what's due. But
This courtroom looks like I mean, this looks awful. Are these Christmas lights, you think?
I can't give you justice. There's no way you will walk out of here, no matter what I do today, and high five each other. There's no way you walk out of here and you say justice is served, because justice.
Brain surgery? Why are you having brain surgery? Oh, you poor thing. Oh my God, that's terrible. Next month? Oh, that's terrible.
Would be having Miss Robinson back to you. Justice would be having her with you for the rest of your lives. And you never get that. You know, to hear about her, she was an innocent victim. You know, she was a girl that I would hope all young ladies strive to be. You know, to hear about working 2 jobs to reach her goals, to be going on for schooling and further education.
Why are we having brain surgery? Dino's getting a brain transplant in a few months. Does that mean he's going to be a Canadian?
But then to hear about how much she was loved in the community by almost everyone that touched her. You know, it was interesting to go through the letters, because I got the letters that were from who I expected, you know, the mother, the father, the sister, the loved ones. I also got a letter from the real estate agent that worked with Ms. Scarborough. I got a letter from citizens And I can't tell you, I really debated whether or not I would share this, but there was a letter from a citizen that doesn't know Miss Robinson, never met her. And this is what he said, or she said. I don't know. The person signed it as Stargazer. In pertinent part, it says, Sade was not a torso. She was not evidence. She was a full, living, radiant human being. She had dreams, plans, and a future she was building with pride. She had people who loved her and that still love her, more than words can hold. And she had a right to live, to breathe, to laugh, to grow old. That right was stolen in a way so vile, so deliberate, that it tears at the fabric of what we call humanity.
This poor woman, she just went out with the wrong guy. It's just, just terrible.
You, Maxwell Anderson, didn't just kill her. You carved her and you discarded her like garbage. And you tried to erase her body from this earth piece by piece. And for what? Not even you had the courage to say. You sat there in court as if you were a man. You didn't snap, you planned. You didn't panic, you dismembered. And still you offer no answers, no remorse, no ounce of dignity that you stripped from her. But here's what you couldn't take. You could not mutilate her soul. You could not silence the scream of justice. You could not prevent an entire community from rising up in Sade's name. We know who she was. We know what she could have become, and we will not let your darkness define her.
All right, so let's play. Hold on a second. I want to get out of this here because there's just too much to go over tonight. I want to go to the father's. I believe this is the father's impact statement here. This was pretty good here. So I believe this is her biological father here. Carlos Robinson, victim Sade Robinson's father, tells the court that his daughter had so much life to live. This was just this poor guy. I mean, this is just terrible. So here's this, and then we'll move on to something else.
My name is Carlos Robinson. CarlosRobinson.
Mr. Robinson, what would you like to say?
I've started my speech multiple times since the trial. My daughter was an amazing person. She lit up every room she walked into. She changed my life from her birth, literally changed my life. She gave me a reason to think more of that make me realize life is bigger than myself. We had an unbreakable bond, me and her. Talking to her was like talking to myself a lot of times. I used to tell her she was the innocent part of me. People lose their children. That's sometimes a part of life. I understand that. But to lose your child in this manner is unthinkable. No, I've tried therapy and all kind of treatments, and nobody can help me get through this process because everybody says nobody has ever been through this. What he has done is inconceivable. And to know that there's a chance I might not even have her completely to be able to put her at peace brings me night terrors and constant mental chaos. He has this.
They should literally put this guy in a room somewhere with a locked door and let this guy at him. That's what they should do. It's literally. Oh,
My daughter had a lot of life left to live. We talked a lot about the future. When she decided to come to live with me, and I got custody of her, I started to take her to colleges and things like that. And because before then she had no goals to go to college or anything like that. So I took her to like Howard University, FGCU, and she got the experience, and she started to change her perception of her goals and what she wanted to be and what she wanted to do. She had so much life left to live, so many goals that was taken from her. And to me, it's not just that she's not here, it's the way that she's not here. I can't wrap my mind around it. Somebody that does something like this doesn't even deserve. I think death is a way out. You deserve what you get. He deserves the punishment that he gave to my daughter.
exactly.
Everything that he did should be done to him. That's how I feel. To me, that's justice.
This poor guy, man. This is
I don't feel like he has a right to walk around and breathe air, eat breakfast, brush his teeth. He doesn't have that right. The moment he done what he did, he lost that. Basic human rights. No man should be able to live doing what he did. That's just how I feel. And I try to make peace because I am a man of God, and I try to learn forgiveness. But I can't get past this. I can't.
that's awful. That's absolutely terrible. But I just, I wanted to play that because this guy here would have a field day with this guy. I'm just telling. That would be true justice, man, in my opinion. All right, so let's get out of that. He got life in prison because I don't think there might be a death penalty in Wisconsin, but I'm not sure. But he'll be in jail for the rest of his life. Let's hope so, anyways. All right, so I want to go on to this because this happened close to home here. This is another one of these bizarre things that happen around here. So let me share this. Hold on for a second. This one right here. So this guy here, man charged with second-degree murder of his girlfriend after a welfare check discovery. So from what I understand, he basically was driving his car illegally, and they stopped him, and he had said something to the police that warranted a welfare check on his house in Newmarket, New Hampshire. And that's where they found his, I believe it was his wife or girlfriend or something like that, dead. So he's been charged with second-degree murder. And this is after, I think, a routine stop. It's so weird. So I'll play this here.
A New Hampshire man is facing murder charges after police say they found his girlfriend dead in their Newmarket home after a welfare check. WMUR's Kelly O'Brien is live in Newmarket tonight with how police got involved in this in the first place. Kelly.
Yeah, well, police spent most of the day here on Maple Street in Newmarket. They just cleared about a half hour ago or so, but the focus was right through that glass door here, the one closest to the road. They say in an apartment there is where the victim, Kylie Fritz, lived. The Newmarket police were called to this home for a welfare check. Neighbors say they saw police arrive to the home around midnight. Inside, police found Kylie Fritz on the floor, dead from an apparent gunshot wound. Police were led to the home after Exeter police responded to a single car crash last night in the 101 Northampton Road area. Now, the car was abandoned, and when police found the driver, Stephen Field, he was arrested for several charges, including DUI. While speaking with police, he said something that police felt warranted a welfare check on Fritz. But the Attorney General's office hasn't really elaborated on what exactly was said. The Attorney General's office says they do believe they've identified all parties involved, but would not say if there are others involved than Fritz and Field. They do say at this time they don't believe there are any threats to the public.
Mr. Field has been charged with murder in the second degree and falsifying physical evidence with regard to the death. He is currently scheduled to be arraigned tomorrow morning at 9:30. And in addition, there's also an autopsy scheduled for tomorrow as well.
And again, Field will be arraigned in Brentwood tomorrow morning. That autopsy is also scheduled for tomorrow for Fritz. We're live in Newmarket. Kelly O'Brien, WMUR News 9.
Okay, so let's do the victim here. Hold on one second here. It's good to see Puck Elf is in here. Good to see you. Hold on one second. I want to play one more. Gretchen is in here too. Hey, Gretchen, good to see you. Play one more of those here. Hold on a second. This is the woman here that he apparently unalived. Friends remember slain Newmarket woman. So Kylie Fritz, 38, was found unalive this week in her Newmarket apartment. Her boyfriend, Stephen Field, 39, was charged in second-degree murder. All right, so here's this here.
Spent a lot of time with Kylie Fritz, not just as co-workers.
She did a little bit of everything. She was always willing to jump in and, help where needed.
And even when Kylie stopped working at Joe's Meat Shop in Northampton.
She had a great friend group here. They went out together. We all went fishing together, did outings.
A mutual friend told Jennifer what happened to Kylie. Police found the 38-year-old dead this week with a gunshot wound.
We're all kind of...
Big Fish is here too. Good to see Big Fish. I'm going to say thank you for coming in now because I always forget your name at the end of the chat, at the end of the live. But good to see Big Fish in here. Good to see Who's Your Daddy's here too. And Puck Elf is here. Who else snuck in? All right, let's get this here.
Just in shock, just because she's such a outgoing person, and she's really got a heart of gold, and she's always friendly with everyone.
Police say her boyfriend, Stephen Field, is the person who killed her. Officers visiting their Newmarket apartment after Field was arrested for drunk driving Monday.
I can confirm that Exeter police did have contact with Mr. Field prior to the welfare check being initiated.
Jennifer and her friends talked a lot about Kylie this week, and they all agree.
She was a girl that just liked to live life to the fullest, really. She liked to pack in as much fun as she could have.
Field had his first court appearance this morning. He's going to stay in jail for the time being until his next hearing in August. Live in Newmarket, John Schoenheider, WMUR News 9.
All right, so I'll keep following that. It's just kind of strange how that happened. Well, we'll play this one here. Do we play this one here?
Yeah, Gene, right now we are on Maple Street. Police are here. There's still a scene, and they're really focusing their efforts on this end apartment here of this tan building, 10 Maple Street. We've spoken to several neighbors in this area. They say that this is very uncommon. It is usually very safe here, and it has been unsettling hearing this news. We spoke to one neighbor off camera who said that they heard police come last.
No, I haven't. Is that the one? Hold on a second. Where'd you go? I don't know. I don't know what he's talking about. And all your alls. Did you go? Hold on a second. Did you already go over the 2 guys in Tennessee that went ginseng hunting? I'm pretty sure I'm going to go over that. Yeah, I can't believe there's 31 people in here. That's amazing. I think I'm going to be going over that one a little later. There's so many cases. Crazy.
Last night around midnight. He said this is a building of apartments. Now, we're still working to gather information here, but right now the Attorney General's office has told us they responded to this home for an untimely death earlier this morning. Officials say that a woman was found dead inside the home. The AG's office says they're still in the very beginning stages here of this investigation, but they say they believe that they have identified all of the parties involved. News 9 Investigates has learned that this woman's death is connected to an incident last night in Exeter. Just before midnight, a vehicle was found off Route 101 abandoned. Exeter Police and State Police responded to that abandoned vehicle and had found the driver after searching the area. We have just heard from Exeter Police an arrest has been made connected to that incident. Information from the driver led police back here to this apartment in Newmarket. Officials say they believe there is no threat to the public at this time. Now, the AG's office says they are still, again, in the beginning stages of this investigation here. So the exact circumstances of what led up to this is still being looked into. And of course, as we learn more information, we'll be sure to update you.
All right, so that's bizarre. Weird. All right, so I think what I'm going to do now, hold on a second. I'm going to go, since I have all this information up, I don't know. These 2 got to get kicked off here. I don't know. Bye. What is going on here? Party with Owl on Saturday night with my date, Mino Dino. That's so cool. All right, so we're gonna go. Let's do this. Hold on a second here. We're gonna go over. We're gonna try to go over this Barbara Cotton thing. I've been trying to figure this out for the last couple of weeks here. And there's not a lot to let's put it this way, there's not a lot of information as far as general media on this case here. So this might be a little bit of reading here. But I do want to play one thing, couple things here. Hold on one second here. And I believe that Lisa Joe is a relative. She's usually in here. So let me play this here. Hold on a second here. It's only 48 seconds, but this might shed some light on this case here. Hold on a second here. This is it here. This is KX News. So let's play this here. Hold on one second while I pull this up here. All right, so let me share this. There might be a commercial in this. Hold on one second here. All right, so bye. All right, so let's share this here. Accept all. This is coming from KX News. This is Barbara Cotton here. And this was done July. This is the only one thing I could find here. July 8th, 2023. So let's play this here. Like I said, there might be a commercial here.
And continuing coverage today marks 40 years since a 15-year-old girl went missing just blocks away from her home in Williston. Family and friends are still looking for answers involving the disappearance of Barbara Cotton. And in the midst of it all, they decided to.
So, no, I don't want to do that. See what's going on here in the chat. She's probably inebriated. I don't know what's going on with this guy, Puck Elf. Yes, you did cover this too. I think it's Lisa Joe's. So Lisa Joe is usually in here, and she could probably correct me. I was hoping she'd be on tonight. But Lisa Joe's husband, or ex-husband, his mother was Barbara Cotton's aunt. Let's go back to this here.
To celebrate her life. Our Malik Wilson attended the event today at Recreation Park to learn more about who Cotton was before the 1981 tragedy.
Very quiet. She was very strong-willed. Extremely good person.
Be kind.
Okay, so let me pull this up here. If you guys find Puck Elf to be too much, just get rid of him. I don't know what his problem is here. All right, so this is, I don't know who this is coming from. I should give people props on this here, but this is the biggest write-up I could find on this case here. So Barbara Louise Cotton was born. That's, I don't want to do that there. Barbara was last seen on April 11th, 1981. So the thing about this case here is there's a lot of different accounts of what happened that night. But what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to try to get as much information as I can on this case, and then kind of extract some of the fact from fiction, and then try to get some sort of a timeline of events that night, and put it into some sort of pressure cooker and see if we can figure out what happened. So Barbara's last seen on April 11, 1981, after having dinner. Now, I think this is one account of this whole thing. So April 11th, 1981. So this was a Saturday, I believe. April 11th, after having dinner with her boyfriend and another friend. And this was not Sandy or Diane in downtown Williston. After dinner, her boyfriend offered to walk her home, but Barbara declined. So after going over this case for the last couple of weeks, that's the first thing I want to know is why Barbara declined, right? Like, if this account is real, why would she decline being walked home? From the corner that the Plainsman Hotel, her boyfriend watched her walk into Recreational Park. Now, let's get out of this for a second here. Thank you, whoever did that. Yeah, because I think he's offending some women in here with that stuff. So I just won't do that. I won't have people offend women in here. So if women are offended, I'm going to try to thank you, Doodlebug. I don't mind people's opinions and stuff, but when they're kind of offending women and stuff like that's when I'm going to get angry. So, anyways. being a constant liar, mental health, or something like that. All right. So anyway, so I do want to go this. So where were we? We were the disappearance. So from that corner, the Plainsman Hotel, her boyfriend watched her walk into Recreational Park. So I have this pulled up. Hold on a second. Let me get out of this for a second. Right here. Is this it? Nope. Hold on a second. 2 seconds. I already have it pulled up, but I just pulled up the wrong one. Right here. Okay. So if this is true, okay, and I got this pulled up, I have, this is basically this hotel. This is not a hotel anymore here, but I got the map pulled up here. So, this is, looking down towards this. Hold on, let me get out of here. So the light is green, we can go. So if I turn around now, I'm assuming that this is the corner here. This is the Plainsman Hotel. It's not a hotel anymore, but that's it. So this would be the corner here, right? And it wouldn't be this corner here because I don't think you can see the park from there, from this corner. So it would be this corner here, or maybe this corner. But if I, there's the, I believe that this is the park here. Right here. I'm assuming that this is Recreation Park here. So we're right here. So this would be the park here. I can probably figure that out in a second here, but so if he's where'd we just go? What did I just do? I gotta go this way here. No, I gotta go the other way. Sorry. Nope. But anyways, that would make sense, right? Where was I? I was up here. Well, I'll get back to that in a second. But you could see, all I was trying to do is you could see from that corner there, stories I could tell of people transported to mental wards and the conversations we had back in the day. Yeah. Good Lord. Anyways, from that, I'll get back to that at some point. You could literally, if that story is true, then you could see from that corner to let me see if I can find this again. Anyways, I don't need to do that anymore. I did that. So so you could actually see from that corner of that hotel down to the park. So let's go back to this here for a second. Hold on a second here. Right here. Let's do this here.
Sweet, just an all-around American girl.
So I'm gonna get. Hold on. I'm gonna get a piece of paper here because I'll forget it. So the question is why, if that story is true, why did Barbara Cotton decline being walked home, right?
Nolt and Kent Cotton are describing their sister, Barbara Cotton, as just the typical 15-year-old girl.
I know she did a lot of, they call it Chinese jump rope. I don't know if that's still around anymore.
Chinese jump rope, because nobody could beat her at it. I don't know how she did it, but she always won.
All laughter and tears as the two reminisce on old memories, which is just about all that they have with Barbara. April 11th, 1981 was the last time anyone has seen or heard from her.
What I can remember, it was more on possibly runaway at that time. And that's kind of what I believed, I guess.
That didn't change for I don't know how long after she had disappeared. That they
Okay, so I got it back. Hold on a second here. Oh, this is a sad case. This is terrible because but I think it's solvable. I mean, hold on a second. Let's do this here. Okay, see, I'm back at the hotel here. And obviously this is the middle of town, so I mean, I would even back in 1981, I would assume that this is fairly lit up here. There's lights here. I don't know how old these lights are, but from this vantage point here, from the corner here, if she walks this way, and this guy here, I think his name is Stacy, right, is watching her walk this way, then you could probably see, I mean, that's recreational park right there. So that would make sense, right? If like I could believe that. Like if now the other question is, this is a hotel here, so apparently this guy Stacy here, her the boyfriend or whatever, I wonder if he was staying here in this hotel, because he was kind of like a drifter, and he kind of left the next day. So I wonder if he was staying here in this hotel. But that's another question. So all right, so a second here. I'll get out of this here. JC Ann's here. Hey JC Ann, good to see you. Just going over this case of Barbara Cotton here finally. I'm assuming none of these cameras were around in 1981. I'd like to get an image of this area here in the 80s, but I'm assuming that this is pretty similar to what it was back then. All right, so let's get back to this here. Hold on a second. We'll get out of this for a second here. JCN's got a great channel too. Awesome channel, actually. And Steve's got a great channel too. Steve is, I don't know if he's doing any more on the channel or not, but Steve is great. Steve is the shit. All right, so let's go here to this. All right, so this is when things get really bizarre. Vague indeed and confusing in more ways than one. The decades have passed and more information has surfaced. So they started to do a investigation a couple of years ago, I think, on this. They picked up the investigation. However, Barb's family are no closer to finding her. What has been uncovered has left more questions than answers, of course. And basically everybody's starting to drop off the planet. So Barb's mother was deceased in 2004. And this poor woman seems like she was kind of left on her own to do her own kind of investigation. It just doesn't make any sense. And she left a lot of questions unanswered by her passing. So truth in the details. According to Louise and little records documented at the time, Barb was seen by Louise having dinner with her boyfriend and a friend. No record of who the boyfriend or the friend was that accompanied her. And no record of the name of the restaurant she was last seen at. And what's strange about it is all three of them worked at restaurants, right? So 2 days later, on April 13th, 1981, Louise called the police department stating Barb went to a party the night as she vanished, and that a girl there knew where Barb was, but was not giving Louise that information. Louise called the police department stating Barb was at a party the night, so April 11th, the night she vanished, and that a girl there knew where Barb was, but was not giving Louise that information. What? Oh, went to a party that night. She vanished, and that a girl there knew where Barb was, but was not giving Louise that information. Louise called Williston police again that day and relayed that she thought that Barb would be with Stacy Werder. So this is the boyfriend here, or supposed boyfriend here, who was 21. And Barb was 15. So right away, that's a problem because in every state that I know of, that's probably illegal, right? But anyways, Barb could be with Stacy Werder in Scobie, Montana at the Pioneer Hotel in room 205. That's weird. Let me get back to the chat here. Night, Doodlebug. Good to see Doodlebug. Doodlebug is amazing. She does awesome work. Her and her sidekick there, Arctic Fox, both are awesome. Arctic Fox is amazing. He does amazing work with the missing. But it's good to see Doodlebug in here for sure. All right, so I do want to do this here. So share this here. Okay, so here is, I believe this is Williston right down in here. And this is almost, I'd say 2 hours. Good 2 hours away is this hotel here that Louise called police saying that she might be here at this hotel. Staying at in room 205. So I had that pulled up here. Give me a second here. And hold on a second. Must be a full moon. Okay, so this is the hotel. It's not a hotel anymore. It's I think this is right now. This is a elderly apartment building here, but this is the hotel here that she would have been at, right? If this is true, that's Louise called. So Louise called Williston police again that day and relayed that she thought Barb could be with Stacy Werder at Scobie, Montana at the Pioneer Hotel in room 205. So this is actually the hotel here that she would have been at. So they would have checked here. So I'm a Snapper Chat is here. Good to see Snapper Chat. Got picked on last night. And this, this is kind of strange, but I'm assuming that this is true, right? This would probably be pretty accurate. Where was I? Right here. That Louise called Williston police because they would probably have a record of that. The day that she relayed that she thought Barb, so they did check this. So that's fact. That would be fact, right? So fact. Or James Woolner, a guy who's done a lot of work on this case. I forget his channel, but I'll figure it out and I'll put it in the chat. Uncovered Stacy Warder was in fact the boyfriend that Louise spoke first to. Louise first spoke of. According to records, police did search Pioneer Hotel, but did not make contact with the girl. But we're trying to extract as much fact as we can out of this. So this is true. This one bit of information so far here is true, that Louise did make a phone call to Williston police, and they did have somebody check at this hotel, but they did not, so she wasn't there. What's even more puzzling is documents don't state if police made contact with Stacy. Was Stacy there? That we don't know. But we do know that they did check that. So let me go back here. Hold on a second. So this is the hotel that they would have checked. Let's go here. So this statement here is pretty much fact. So I get that marked down here. According to records, police did search Pioneer Hotel, so they have a record of that, so we know that's a fact. So this is when we start getting into this boyfriend here. And according to what I've read on this, the only people that know anything about this guy, Stacy Warder, the boyfriend, is Louise Cotton, the mother, and Barbara. So Stacy Warder was born on October 5th, 1955. We know all of that. Stacy was in the Navy sometime during 1980. He was discharged after they diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia. After the short time in the military, Stacy seemed to drift all over the place. It is unknown where he could have been. He had no known address or even transportation. He must have worked. We know that he worked at a, according to Louise, Louise told police that Stacy used to work at Cakes and Cones in Williston. Is that even there still? Hold on a second here. Montana, Cakes and Cones. It's now called hold on a second. I don't know what it's called. I'll have to look into that. It's not coming up with anything, but okay. So let's get back to this. Where the hell am I? Right here. I'll look for that in a second. So sorry. He must have worked odd jobs, possibly under the table. What we do know is that, okay, so here's another fact thing coming. What we do know is that Louise Cotton knew of Stacy Warder in some capacity, as she did have some information on him. Louise told police Stacy used to work at Cakes and Cones in Williston. Damn it. Does anybody know if that's there still? She also knew he was in Montana 2 days after she last laid eyes on her daughter. The big question is how she knew these details, because no one other than Louise could put Stacy Warder in Williston before, during, or after Barbara's last scene. This case is crazy. This case is strange. Hold on a second. Yeah, it's just coming up. It's coming up nothing really. Oh, let's go to AI mode. Cakes and Cones, Williston. If you ask about Cakes and Cones in Williston, Vermont. No, I'm not asking about Williston, Vermont. I'm asking about so nothing. So I'll have to check into that to see if that's even there. Let's check back in the chat here. Slayer. Snapper made it through the initiation last night. Nice. I wonder if Derek Lavassa has done a dive in this case. I know there's one guy that's been doing a lot. I'll get his name in a second for you guys, but he's Nicole Watt's here. Good to see Nicole Watt. All right, so let's get back to this here. There's no record of him until, okay, so here we go. The big question is how she knew these details, because no one other than her, Louise, Barbara's mother, could put Stacy Warder in Williston before, during, or after Barbara's last scene. There's no record of him until June of 1981. And on June 12th, 1981, Stacy served 10 days in Glasgow, Montana for disorderly conduct. Now, this would probably be a question for Steve. I wonder if they picked this guy up in Montana and charged him with this charge here to maybe further investigate whether he had anything to do with the disappearance of Barbara. On July 15th, 1981, Stacy was arrested in Malta, Montana for disorderly conduct regarding an incident at the Villa Theater. He was in the company of an old acquaintance named Red. Red was not arrested, but the pair met just a week or so prior to the movie theater incident. There's Lisa Joe right there. So Red was tracked down by Lisa Joe in 2022. Red vividly recalls how they met and kind of took a liking to each other. Stacy was transient and Red was in the area to handle a settlement due to an injury sustained. Both men had little money, if any. So that's kind of that there. Stacy never mentioned Barb's name to Red, but is there a reason for this? Or was Barb not Stacy's girlfriend? So there's an image of this guy here. Doesn't matter. He's dead now. So he unalived himself in jail. But he had written a letter to his family in California. It's just really strange. This guy here is a little strange, but from the first day Barb vanished seemingly into thin air, Louise, the mother, was dead set on finding her daughter. Louise called Sandy early the next morning, just after midnight, inquiring where Barb was. Of course, Sandy was not with her, but definitely knew in that phone call something was wrong. The panic in her mother's voice was something she had never heard. Louise phoned Barb's friend Diane as well, asking the same questions. Again, Diane was not with Barb either, nor had she seen her much in the week leading up to April 3rd. So here's a question. I wonder if she was going to this party that night, if this guy Stacy was around to buy the alcohol, because you need somebody over, the age to buy alcohol. So maybe he was being used. Wasn't anyone else timed out? People start crap every time I come in here, and I'm the only one timed out. I didn't even know you were timed out. So maybe this guy Stacy was kind of there to get the alcohol for the party, and then because why would Barbara not be okay with him walking her home, right? Because he said, listen this. Right, according to him, he asked to walk her home, and Barbara declined. So why would she decline? All right, so let's go back to the video a little bit here. This is going to take. Do I have an email? I do. This is going to take me a few lives for sure, because this case is to go over here. This is a strange case. So let's go back to this here.
Finally decided she wasn't a runaway.
But the question still remains, what
So this is our information here. Missing since April 11th, 1981. I believe this was a Saturday, and she had to go to work in the morning. So she worked at a restaurant. They all worked at restaurants. And this is what she would look like. I don't know when this was done. This was done a couple of years ago. So she's 2 years older than me, I think. So date of birth, November 10th, 1965, 53. She'd be 50. She'd be 50. She'd be 60 almost right now. Female, white, brown, 5'2", 100 pounds. So she's tiny. Barbara's photo is shown age progression 47 years. She was last seen leaving a local restaurant. So this is coming from Williston Police Department. So this is probably accurate here. She was last seen leaving a local restaurant. She did not take any belongings with her. Her left ear is lower than her right ear, and she has a dark brown mole on the upper right side of her chest. Her eyes are hazel brown. Right?
actually happened? And where she said you was last been seen?
Here in this park.
So that's the park. That's the tree, right? So, now we got to go back to the park. So it's probably this park right here. I know you're not looking at it, but I am. But that would be an accurate statement. I mean, if he's saying that he was standing on the corner, watching her walk towards the park, that's pretty accurate, right? So, hold on a second. Let's go back to this here. Because that's the tree there.
But there's some controversy over that now. But yeah, here in the park.
A controversy detectives are slowly
After she disappeared, that they finally decided she wasn't a runaway.
But the question still remains, what actually happened?
Let's go back to the chat here. Can Ahmad post Dave's email? Yes. I can put it in here. Hold on. I think that's it. $3.99. Just checking the chat. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I don't think I've ever timed anybody out in my life. I might have by accident. Holy shit, that much? $400? For what? All right, so let's go to this here. I know that tree because I just saw it.
Where she said you have last been seen? Here in this park.
And there's a white car right there. Just kidding.
But there's some controversy over that.
The other question I want to know is if she had a diary. That's why I was hoping Lisa Joe was in here tonight because I might time myself out. It's too funny. I'm gonna have to ask Lisa Joe that.
No, but yeah, here in the park.
A controversy detectives are slowly trying to unravel. And while many stones are still unturned and many questions are still unanswered, family and friends are doing their part to keep Barbara's name alive by holding a celebration.
Yeah, that's that building right there. So I'm right. This is the park. So from hold on a second. Oh my God, where the hell was I? Right here. Yeah, that's the building right there that they're standing. Hold on a second. That's that building right there. So remember that building right there. That's the building. So if I go here, don't tell Steve we're running the stop sign, please. Okay, so that's the building right there. That's exactly the building we're looking at right there. And if you go this way here, you're going, there's the main street here. And this is, because I'm not driving out to, I actually think that Cheryl Ladd is from North Dakota. She's like my favorite actress of all time. So here's the hotel here again. So if he's standing here and he's looking this way and she's walking down the street, there's a light there. I don't know if these lights are here. There's a light there at the light, but usually in a town like that, it's pretty much lit up even at night. But that would make sense if he's saying that he's watching her walk towards Recreational Park right there, because that's where they're standing right now in this video. Then it's possible. I don't think you can see it. Like if you're standing over on this corner here, you can't see that because this building's in the way, right? This looks like this building's been there for a while, so yeah, you can see the park is right there. All right, so let's get back to this here. It's good to see JCN in here. JCN is amazing. She's got a great freaking channel. You guys are going to CrimeCon? Oh, is that what you guys were talking about? See, I'm a little slow.
Of life on the anniversary of the day she was last seen.
It's been 40 years since she's been missing since on April 11th. And so
he was part Native American Indian too, right? I wonder if anybody knows what Native American Indian part she was.
So we decided to get together and remember her and what she's, her life and her character and things like that, and just get together.
She had a lot of you went to Nashville? You are. Great pubes. Just, thanks, buddy. Nobody's better than Mexi. She's awesome. I'm just trying to catch up with chat here a little bit. Dawn is Southern Gal, I think. All right, so we'll play the rest of this here.
Family and friends and talk. And remember,
Although this is the family's first time holding an event to celebrate Barbara's life, both pain and hope still remain.
You just walk into a store and hope to see her. You know, you get a phone call and you take it because you hope it's her on calling you. And a lot of that throughout the past 40 years. So basically just hopeful mindset of... Yep.
Reporting for KX News in Williston, Malik Wilson.
The Williston Police Department is still looking to the community for help.
All right, so I'm going to change things here a little bit. I'm going to go Snapper Chat. If Snapper Chat wants a wrench, let me know. It's always good to see Miss Barbara in here. Miss Barbara is an amazing person. Well, this is the official. I don't know if this is official or not, but this is so this is Find Barb Cotton. And hold on a second. I want to get some props here to this guy. Hold on a second. I want to Dakota Spotlight. That's the guy, Dakota Spotlight True Crime. He's the one that's kind of, I don't want to say the authority on this, but he's hold on a second. Let me yeah, Dakota Spotlight True Crime. He's done a tremendous job on this case here, so I just wanted to give him some. I may put his thing in the chat here. All right, so this is done by the circumstances to the disappearance of Barbara Louise Cotton. So this is kind of a background story on this. When Barbara, who went by Barb, knew her, was about 7 years old, her parents divorced, and her mother Louise moved to Williston. And it's about an hour away east from where they came from. So Tioga, North Dakota. I already mapped that out. As a single mom, Louise had to work to make ends meet. However, she did what she could to keep it. So this is the most common version here. She was last seen April 11, 1981, having dinner with her boyfriend. See, I don't know if I trust this boyfriend thing or not. And another friend in downtown Williston. After dinner, her boyfriend offered to walk her home, but Barb declined. So I want to know why would she decline to be walked home? That doesn't make sense. From the corner of the Plainsman Hotel occupied from the corner that the Plainsman Hotel occupied. So that's where we just were, on that corner. And her boyfriend watched her walk into Recreational Park. Now, I don't know if he could have watched her walk into Recreational Park from there, but this scenario seems to be based off police reports made by Barbara Zama. So this, I want to say that this is 100% accurate, but it seems like it's based off of police reports. Now, things are going to change in 2022. So this is, after 40 years, there's only a few things that are clear. Barb has never been seen or heard from again. No remains have been found that have matched Barb. and there have been no arrests made in connection with her disappearance. The people that should have been questioned after she disappeared apparently never were. I don't believe that either. And at the very least, there doesn't seem to be any records regarding them being questioned. And the worst part is that many of them have since passed away. But we do know that they did go to Scobie, Montana to check. So they did do some stuff. So obviously something's been done. This includes two. Okay, so this includes 2 of the 3 individuals that Williston police have publicly named as people of interest. One of them is obviously the boyfriend, Stacy, and then we have yet to find anyone else that can positively place him there. Okay, so hold on. Before we go down any rabbit holes, I'll just say that we don't know that he existed. So we're not trusting the mom. Is that the deal? We also know that it's likely that he was in Williston when Barb disappeared. We have yet to find anyone else that can positively place him there. However, we know that he wasn't a fictional. I mean, why would the mom lie? Moms usually know a lot of shit, right? Like moms, checking the channel here. YouTube Bad Actress is good. Yes. Mr. Steve, when you coming back? Where's Mr. Steve? Why would a boyfriend even have to offer to walk her home? Exactly. Dave Fletcher. I wonder why they didn't invest. Like, why? Because everything I looked at, like 21 and 15, that's not good. Even some of the real, I want to say liberal states or whatever, that's still, even in 1981, that would have been a red flag there for, what do they call that? Right, sorry. Where was I? Stacey Ward is by far the biggest mysteries of this case. There's plenty of reasons to be suspicious of Stacy. I don't think he did it. However, there's a couple of reasons why he may be an unlikely suspect. For one thing, he didn't have a car. There are also plenty of issues that arise anytime we try to gain clarity. I mean, it is believed that it seems likely that Stacy left Williston for Montana within a day or two. So he left to go to Montana within a day or two of Barb's disappearance. And we can verify that by June, he was definitely there. Louis stated that Stacy used to wash dishes at Cakes and Cones. And it's hard for me to believe that the police wouldn't have followed up on this. I mean, what we do know about Stacy Warder, Stacy DeMar Warder was born October 5th in Eureka, California. He was described by, so he had issues. He had paranoid schizophrenia. The symptoms of schizophrenia typically start to manifest in the later teens, early 20s. One of the last times Stacy was home, he nearly strangled the father to death with an extension cord. Where would he put the body, though? That's what I'm saying. If he doesn't have a car, where does he put the body? So Louise called police again on April 13th, 1981, told them she had thought Barbara could be with Steve. So we read that already. We don't actually know if Stacy was in Scobie. Okay, so the court document Louise filed to declare Barbara deceased in 1998 stated that Barbara was last seen by a friend walking from. Okay, so here, there's the court document Louise filed to declare Barbara deceased in 1998 stated that Barbara was last seen by a friend. It doesn't say boyfriend here, it says friend, walking from the Plainsman Hotel around midnight. Midnight. I gotta write all this shit down. Midnight. Ugh. Maybe Louise met with or saw Barb. This is probably boring for you guys, but Stacy and another friend earlier in the evening. I don't like maybes. I don't read the maybes. From there, Barb attended the party, and maybe Stacy. See, here we go with maybes again. How did they speak? Was Barb? Louise had the mom had the host's phone number of this supposed party. She called there numerous times in the months following her daughter's disappearance. Louise would ask if there was anything at all that the girl could remember about that night. This is the bizarre thing. In my opinion, is it seems like nobody. This woman and her sister recall Barb attending a party at her apartment. They admit that after 40 years, it's hard to say with absolute certainty that it was the night Barb disappeared. How do you not remember that? However, they do feel very strongly that it was. Also, why else would Louise continue to call them? They recall that Barbara did attend the party with a boy, and after seeing photos, they think it's possible that it was Stacy Warder. I don't know. Yeah, Mr. Steve is awesome. Where's Mino going? What happened to Dino? Dig a hole close to the crime. At night in the middle of town? The other thing I want to know is what is the weather? Obviously, it's North Dakota, so early April, the weather is Mr. Steve leaving? Trying to tie up cold case work, finished moving, prepping new house for Florida storm threats. Just stay safe, buddy. It's past his bedtime. Oh, okay. There's no such thing as past Steve's bedtime. He's probably still drinking coffee right now. All right, so I know this is probably boring. Okay, during the early hours of July 16, 1981, this so-called boyfriend unalived himself in a jail cell at the Malta Police Department. Before doing this, Stacy contacted his family back in California. This is all going to basically slam this guy here. So apparently, if there's any information, I would have thought that they probably would have looked into this guy, though. And then this was all about Sandy. So this is her. This sucks. This is interesting here too. There's a third person of interest, Frank Dellapina. Dellapina was working in Williston at the time of Barb's disappearance. On May 1st, 1981, he was hospitalized for a mental health evaluation and released the following day. Delapina lost his job working for Cefel on a local seismology crew, because this is a big, obviously, this is a big oil town. On May 5th, Delapina headed for Rollins, Wyoming in his 1973 Ford van, pulling his travel trailer. On May 7th, Delapina started what seemed like a desperate mission to lure young girls into his van. This guy looks pretty good here. His ruse was attempting to rehome a husky puppy, but the catch was they had to come inside to help him find it. All of these attempts failed, but later at 7 p.m. at a busy intersection, he abducted 2 young girls, aged 9 and 10, 1 block away from the police station. Their bodies were found the following morning off an interstate exit 54 miles of East Rawlings. Delapina was quickly caught with all of the eyewitnesses from the attempted abductions. So this was Delapina was arrested on May 12, 1981 in Lyman, Colorado after applying for a job while in the Lincoln County Jail in Hugo, Colorado, awaiting extradition to Wyoming. And then on May 22nd, he unalived himself too. So let me see if I can pull his, hold on a second, Frank. Delapina, hold on a second, Frank. I got too many windows open here. Delapina. Okay, hold on a second. Let me get out of this here. I'll have to do some more information on this guy here. This is the same shit. Okay, so here's Frank Delapina, a 29-year-old man who also worked in the oil fields, was identified as another person of interest in Barbara's disappearance. Delapina can be placed in, so he was in Williston, March to May 1981. So he was in the town. According to findbarbcotton.com, a website detailing, also known as Francisco Javier Delapina Chavez, was employed by Cefel Geophysical in Williston. Delapino, on May 1st, so a month later, Delapino suffered what seems to be like a mental breakdown and was hospitalized. He was released the next day and now unemployed. Delapino stayed at the KOA campground in Williston for a few more days before heading to Wyoming. And I know where that is. Hold on a second. Oh, what did it say? Williston? That's in Williston? Hold on a second. North Dakota. pulling it up. So that's right in. Yeah, there's going to have to be a 2 or 3 parter here. That's right in. Thank you, Heather, for doing that. That's right in Williston so he was there. So there's a lot of campgrounds at a KOA campground in Williston for a few more days. It was in Wyoming on May 7th that Della Pena attempted numerous times to lure young women, girls, and even a little boy into his trailer. So he was in Rawlins, a city about 150 miles northwest of Cheyenne. He was successful in abducting 2 young girls, Renee Davidson. I'll have to look these 2 up. Penny Swanson, 12, into his trailer. Their bodies were found the following morning near a rest stop I-80 east of Rawlins. Autopsies determined that they were, They both died in jail. While it's unknown, it is unknown if Barbara was ever acquainted with Della Pena. The timing of his presence in Williston, followed by the subsequent murder of the 2 young girls in Wyoming, could have been enough to warrant. So back in 1981, Della Pena was never identified as a person of interest. Maybe because he took off. That's so weird. Yes, Miss JCN is awesome. So I'm gonna do more on this here. Sorry, this has been a little bit, boring, but I'm gonna do probably another one next week on this case here because there's so many different avenues to take. It's just Carol's leaving too. So I'll have to do another one on this. So okay, so we're done on that. Not done with the case though. I'll do a follow-up on this next week for sure. So let's go back to, hold on a second. I do want to cover a couple more things here. That's just a really strange case. All right, let's do, there's a whole bunch of these people running around. I do want to do this Devil Den State Park unaliving here. So we'll do this next. All right, so this is just a sad freaking case. These poor kids are now going to have to live without their parents. It's just, these are the cases here that just, this is just insane. It's been just 48 hours since authorities arrested. This was done a day ago. And they found this guy, Andrew McGann, who police believed unalived 2 people in Devil's Den State Park. I think most of us posted this week here that this guy was on the loose here. This guy here apparently on a hiking trail just unalived these 2 parents here. Thankfully, the kids got away. So here's this here. This was in, I believe this was in Arkansas. Was this Arkansas? I think this was Arkansas. Not sure.
They advised that their parents were assaulted. One was possibly stabbed. The parents are missing.
A random attack at Devil's Den State Park, a massive manhunt, a community on edge, and finally, a suspect in custody. It's been just 48 hours since police arrested elementary school teacher Andrew McGann at a Springdale beauty salon. He's accused of stabbing and killing Clinton and Kristen Brink, leaving their 3 daughters without parents just weeks after they moved to Northwest Arkansas.
Our hearts just go out to the family.
As that family mourns, investigators press forward and a community grapples with the reality of violence in a place they thought was safe.
Why would somebody do this? Like, I had the flight radar up for like 2 days on this thing here, and I was going to go live the other day when they caught this guy, but I had to go to work, so I just couldn't do it. But why would somebody do this? This is so weird. This is so, just unbelievable.
Well, at the end of a tough week for that.
Thank God this guy was really stupid. I mean, he just went to go get a haircut. I mean, what an idiot. But, that because, they probably would have caught this guy.
A grieving family, investigators, and the community, Andrew McGann is officially charged with 2 counts of capital murder. 5 News reporter Bo Russell takes us to the quick hearing that begins what's sure to be a long legal process.
28-year-old Andrew McGann was arrested on Wednesday after a tip about his car led to an arrest at Lupita's Beauty Salon in Springdale.
They just told him to stand up from the chair. They needed to talk to him, and he just stood up. He just gave in.
Friday morning, McGann went before a judge at the Washington County Jail to be read his rights.
You should know you have the right to be represented by an attorney. Free attorney will be appointed if you can't.
It's so weird how he's standing so close to this judge here. This is weird.
5 News has obtained new court documents from Washington County Prosecutor Brandon Carter, showing that McGann has been charged
with capital murder. Nice.
Charged with 2 counts of capital murder. Because of the charges, Carter expects a lengthy legal process.
The state is going to pursue the death penalty in this case. I've never been involved in a death penalty case that didn't last multiple years.
In the meantime, Carter says he wants to work with the victim's family members, but will do so respectfully and on their time.
This is how this is going to go. He's going to go and get legal counsel. This is going to drag out for at least 2 years, probably. And once they start getting close to trial, the prosecution's going to cave, and they're going to give this guy life in prison, and they're going to drop the death penalty. That's what's going to happen. Just my opinion.
I have asked to meet with the family, but I don't want to do it until they're ready to meet with me in person.
I asked if he knew about any investigations into other crimes McGann may have committed across the country.
Just because an arrest has been made doesn't mean the investigation is over. And Colonel Hager touched on this yesterday during his press conference. Law enforcement in this office will continue to investigate this case with the evidence that we've gained from the search warrants that were conducted the night.
It shouldn't be allowed. As far as I'm concerned, it shouldn't be allowed. And I know that it puts a lot of doubt and stuff, but there should be a trial. If you're gonna threaten the DP, do it. Period. Just there should be a trial regardless.
Night of his arrest.
McGann's arraignment is set for August 25th, but could be moved up sooner.
I feel the weight of this case and began to feel the weight of it then, and will continue to feel the weight going forward. And having that weight is a good thing for this office, so that we always remember how serious a case this is and how it needs our undivided and full attention.
In Fayetteville, covering news where you live, I'm Bo Russell, 5 News.
A GoFundMe made to help the Brink family has so far raised tens of.
I donated here to this fundraiser. This is just these poor kids. That's gone. I mean, it's awful. It's just terrible.
Thousands of dollars to cover the funeral expenses. GoFundMe did.
I should. Do they have the GoFundMe down here? Oh, I hate my life. If there's a GoFundMe down here, if I can get there, I'll put it in the description at some point. This is just awful. If you guys want to hear a good guitar player, check this guy out. Psycho Face. He's amazing.
It confirmed to 5 News that the fundraiser, which is organized by Sherry Reed of Arizona, is verified. So if you'd like to help with expenses, you can find a link to this on our website, 5newsonline.com. You can also text BRINK to that number right there at the bottom of your screen at 479-785-5000. You can follow all of our coverage as the case moves forward on 5 News Plus. Just text the word plus to that same number right there at the bottom of your screen to download it now for your smart TV.
I say that all the time. He's no Bill Russell. Oh, all right. Where are we going to go from here? Okay, let's try this one here. This is a mix, I guess.
Today marks exactly 1 week since the double murder at Devil's Den State Park that claimed the lives of a husband and wife. And this weekend, the man accused.
So this was done 7 hours ago. One skip over that. I mean, this is just awful.
Accused of killing Clinton and Kristen Brink is in the Washington County Jail without bond. This is a live look right now at the park where authorities say a hiker found the couple stabbed to death on a trail, and you see some flowers there at the end of the park as well. Investigators say that hiker also got the couple's 2 daughters to safety before calling 911. And at last check, trails at the park remain closed. Andrew McGann is charged with 2 counts of capital murder. He was appointed a public defender, but no plea was entered. His next court date is set for August the 25th, although
he was going to get a haircut.
Prosecutors say it could happen sooner.
Depending on which criminal court it's assigned, that date might be moved up, but it won't be moved out further.
The prosecuting attorney says he is not waiving the death penalty in this case, meaning McGann is eligible for it if convicted.
All right, hold on a second. I want to play. My computer's kind of funky tonight. Sorry. I want to play this one right here.
This is one we were following very.
I got to see that new Naked Gun movie. I just have to see it. I had no idea that they were even doing that, so I'm late to the party again.
Closely, we now know that the suspect accused in the Arkansas hiker murder, has now appeared in court for the first time. If you're just now listening in and haven't been following the story as closely, we do know that those Arkansas authorities say that a peaceful family hike turned into a deadly ambush. This all happened when a 28-year-old school teacher allegedly stabbed a married couple to death in front of their children at Devil's Den State Park. Arkansas police then arrested Andrew James McGann at a barbershop in Springdale earlier this week. McGann was charged with 2 counts of capital murder in connection to those killings of Clinton Brink, who you can see on your screen there, the 43-year-old, and his wife, Kristen Brink, who's 41. The 2 were found dead there on a walking trail, and their daughters, who are 7 and 9, thankfully, were not hurt during this encounter. But ultimately, we know that McGann did have that first appearance inside of an Arkansas court yesterday. And to talk a lot more about what comes next in this case, I want to bring in legal analyst Jeremy Rosenthal. Jeremy, thanks so much for being with us here on Live Now from Fox. And of course, we know that, again, McGann was there for that preliminary hearing. First, can you sort of explain what happens there in the courtroom for a first hearing like that?
Extremely basic things are sort of what are on tap. First and foremost, understand the charges that are against them. They understand some of their fundamental rights, their rights to counsel, their right to remain silent if that's not already been explained to them. Sometimes if bond has not been set, then bond is discussed. In this instance, there was no bond. They're not going to be allowing him to be released to the public, probably, and I'm sure because of his dangerousness. And those are the types of things that are sort of done initially. You've got to remember, a criminal case, the way that it works, you have to gather and collect, investigate the incident, the crime. And once that gets together, the lawyers only after all that typically get involved. And here in this situation, you would think that the lawyers, the DA's office, the prosecutors, you would think that they're probably working in some ways hand in hand. That's not certainly the case in every crime, but high profile things like this, yes. So formal legal charges, I don't think have been brought yet. So all of the things that are going forward right now are basically just sort of the rules of the road for the incarceration, for the immediate future, laying the groundwork for future legal proceedings and for his incarceration, or if at some point he does make bond or get bond, how that would work as well.
And so, yeah, it's definitely going to be a process that continues to happen. And what makes this case so interesting is so many people wondered what happened, who did it. There was a manhunt for several days, but I also have some video footage that I want to put up on the screen as well that shows the moment where this man was officially taken into custody. This is the courtesy Brooke Taylor there of Fox News. So also, police said that during his initial questioning, McGann actually confessed to the murders. How does this affect the case going forward? I mean, it's not often that you hear that someone actually confesses during those first initial talks with police.
It's certainly going to make proving the case for the police and the prosecution a lot easier. Now, we don't know in what context that he confessed. He may have claimed some sort of self-defense. He may have admitted to being there or being in some sort of a fight or altercation with these people. So we don't know exactly what that confession comprises of. But you've got a situation where this man is in the woods, where there's no cameras, there's no tapes, there's no videos, there's only eyewitnesses. Maybe we don't know for certain whether the children saw this encounter happen or not. We don't know to what extent they saw it or not. So proving this case would be very, very complicated because you would have to identify him somehow. Now, I also understand they've got DNA evidence in this case, but the fact that he confesses to it and admits to it really eliminates a lot of the whodunit. You look at the Scott Peterson case. There was DNA. In that instance, it's the same situation. You're talking about eyewitness testimony, and if you do have any kind of shred of DNA evidence, does it match? Does it not match? Where was it? Is it possible it was there for some other reason, depending on what it was on? So the fact that you have a confession makes this case far, far easier from the prosecution standpoint.
Well, Jeremy, I have to ask you, could he eventually turn around and then say he was appointed a public defender while he was in court yesterday, but say he was coerced into making any of those statements? Could that change whatever plea is eventually put in?
Sometimes false confessions are a red flag. And if you watch any documentaries, if you see what the Innocence Project has done, false confessions are a common denominator for bad convictions. They happen, and they happen in a lot of instances because of enhanced interrogation techniques. There's a technique that law enforcement uses called the Reed technique for interrogation. It's come under a lot of fire and criticism for being coercive. There's all sorts of things throughout the history of interrogation. I
want to say one thing, like this guy here, is at least off the streets.
Not allowing breaks, not allowing food, not allowing sleep, offering cigarettes, offering food, and so those types of things can be elements and aspects of that. He may have tried to invoke his right of counsel. That could have been overridden. Certainly, his defense team is going to scrutinize this confession.
Just want these guys to just resist arrest, right? Just once, they go away so quietly. They do all of this violence, right? But yet when they go to get caught, they don't resist. You just hope that one day they, at least make a bad move, and then, it's gonna go to trial. People are gonna have to spend money, the taxpayers' money. Just resist arrest. Just please. When they come to get you, resist. Make everybody's job a lot easier. Ugh.
And you would think that the prosecution, that the police, they know that this is coming. They know that this is a high-profile case. If I'm investigating this case, I'm being as antiseptic as possible, and I am
We love Heather here. Heather's an amazing person. Sorry, I haven't said that yet tonight. She's a great person. I have her GoFundMe scrolling across the bottom here. But I'm up to putting anybody's GoFundMe here across the bottom. Silent Running is here. Good to see Silent Running. Sorry if I haven't seen you yet. Southern Gal's amazing too. Southern Gal is arguably one of the greatest people on the planet. She does excellent work, and I wanted to let you know last week that Mrs. Crocodile Heave is back in the news. She wants a new trial. Miss Vander Ark, is that her name? Miss Vander Ark. She's the one that's she went to prison for unaliving her son. Remember her? But anyways, Southern Gal's amazing. Barbara's amazing too. Timmy's Legacy. Always good to see Miss Barb in here. I hope she's doing well. I know she's probably not, but she's hanging in there, so that's why we love her. We have Fur Baby Daddy's in here. Diana's in here probably still. If she's not sleeping, she probably should be sleeping. She's got a great channel too. Charles is awesome too. Charles is great. Probably going to be needing his help here in a couple of weeks or so, but let's get back to this.
Just giving this case just the perfect white glove treatment when it comes to admonishing him about his rights, making sure he completely understands these things, because you don't want to lose a case because you didn't do it right on the front end.
And so ultimately, what's truly the tragic portion of this case is that these two people, these two parents, were murdered there in the park, and their two daughters.
That's too funny. Here, that's too funny. We tagged out 2 in one day once.
Just brought them up in their role. They may play a very important role in the upcoming trial. If it does go to trial, ultimately, Jeremy, would you expect them, being so young, 7 and 9 years old, to be witnesses on the stand for this?
Tragically, yes. Children, unfortunately, are witnesses in a lot of crimes, not the least of which are child abuse and sexual abuse. I think it's a very big priority and a goal for prosecutors to not put children through that if they don't have to in most circumstances. But the rules of evidence and the law certainly allow for children to testify. And in this instance, what the children say is going to be pretty critical. Because they're going to be the ones that, for whatever they saw and experienced, can really paint a picture of what happened there. There's only so much you can put together through the forensics, through the stab wounds, through whatever other kind of evidence you've got there, footprints, defensive marks, these types of things. So you're going to have to really sort of understand what these children saw. Did they see?
So now this is the deal, right? They have to go through hell again, right? Just annoying. Yeah, True Crime Web is great. Steve, it was so good to see Steve tonight. Jeez, I've been worried about him. I know he's fine now. Steve's a great guy. He's probably working hard as he always does. So yeah.
Did they see a road rage type incident? Was the man waiting in wait for some kind of an ambush? I
mean, if it wasn't for Mr. Steve, I probably wouldn't have a channel. But so it's his fault. Just I don't know what to tell you.
Happened? Was this a chance encounter of some sorts? Was it premeditated? Only the children are really going to be able to paint that picture. And so for that reason, I do think there's a high probability that they're going to be brought into this a little more than they ought to. Certainly, these children have been through enough already, far too much than any child should ever have to experience. And you just hope and pray that the scarring that they've experienced is somehow mitigated.
I have to ask.
That's what I mean. At least this guy's off the street. You know, it sucks that 2 people had to get unalived because of it, but at least he's yes, Jocelyn's amazing. That's where I met you too, is on Mr. Steve's channel. Yeah, I didn't meet Steve. I've known Steve goes all the way back to Marvin Frank's channel when he used to be on Marvin Frank's channel. Yep. We all met. I met Southern Gal, I think, on True Crime After Dark or True Crime Up All Night or something like that. Mr. Steve is who's better than Mr. Steve-O is Mrs. Steve. Mrs. Steve is a gem. She's amazing.
Do you think additional charges could still be filed too on behalf of the children if they did?
Somebody's got to take care of that old boy down there. And it's her. She's got duty over Mr. Steve. It's a full-time job, probably.
See anything? Because could anything related to that be filed against Andrew McGahn?
In theory, if he did anything to harm the children or something of that nature, then potentially yes. Or if he,
yeah, if you have channels or you know people who have channels, that's why I give people wrenches in here, because I have no problem, promoting good channels. Other people's content creators are, more than welcome in here for sure. I know Southern Gal, Arctic Fox, all these great creators, Doodlebug, JCN, they all do great work, literally. The more we get some of these missing person cases out there, the better.
threaten the children. I believe the state of Arkansas has indicated that they've not taken the death penalty off of the table yet. I don't know that they've specifically said that they're going to seek it here yet. Certainly a case like this would be appropriate under Arkansas law. Arkansas law provides that if there are multiple victims in a homicide, then they are eligible for the death penalty. So I don't know that you can charge them with anything more severe, but certainly the children and their welfare, I think, are going to be a priority going forward. Now, tragically, that the fact that the children might have to testify in some ways is a bargaining chip for the defense. We just saw Bryan Kohberger plead guilty to 4 very brutal homicides, and part of the reasoning for the prosecution in that case was that they didn't want to put the families through
bullshit. That's the biggest bullshit story ever. I'm so tired of hearing that. That's absolute bullshit.
any more torture. And in this instance, the defense here can say, listen, we can make this easy. We don't want the children to have to testify either, but we also don't want to agree to a death sentence. So they do have that bargaining chip.
They took the plea because they didn't want to spend the money. I mean, this guy, where's this guy coming from? Tell that to the family that went out in front of the freaking media and said, they wanted a trial. They wanted to see this guy fry. Who are you kidding? Oh my God. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Whether we like it or not, the defense does have that option here, and the prosecution does have some difficult decisions to make going forward.
Jeremy, I'm glad you brought up.
Of course you, Madam Miranda. Yeah, Arctic Fox is awesome. Thank you, Southern Gal. Look, these things shall not be believed, right? Like, not to mention the fact that, juries are juries. You never know what a jury's going to do. So I've seen people walk before, man.
I'm so glad you brought up Kohberger, because that case still being so fresh on our minds. One piece that was hard for a lot of folks to understand.
All right. So, okay, let's play this one here. I wanted to play the press conference, but I can't find it now.
We start your news this morning back with the Devil's Den State Park double homicide, the moment that stopped a small Arkansas salon cold. A young mother and stylist suddenly face to face with the man now accused of a brutal double murder. She didn't know it then, but just moments into the haircut, police would walk in. I spoke with her about the experience.
It was a quiet day inside Lupita's beauty salon in Springdale, Arkansas.
This guy went to a beauty salon to get a haircut?
Stylist Adriana Ruiz Avalos was getting ready to take her next client.
When he walked through the door, I noticed he was standing on the other side, and I asked him if he would like his haircut, and I told him to come to my chair, that I was going to attend him.
That man, authorities say, was 28-year-old Andrew James McGann, now accused in the double murder of Clinton and Kristen Brink, parents who were attacked while hiking with their 2 young daughters in Devil's Den State Park.
Jocelyn is awesome. She's got a channel 2 butterfly kisses. Thank you, Southern Gal. Anybody that's going to channel, we'll get you as many subs as we can. Next week, I'm going to try to revisit the Evansdale case, but I might have to push it off now because of the Barbara Cotton thing. I definitely want to do a Barb Cotton 2.
He walked to my chair, and I sat him down I sat him down and I explained to him how he liked his haircut. And he told me he wanted a high fade, and it was just into the haircut when I believe undercover police came in to arrest him.
But Adriana says even before the officers walked in, something felt off.
I did notice that his hair was covering his face, and he was kind of looking down. I could see his eyes through a couple strands of his hair, and they were pretty dark under eye and looked sunken. So that kind of did freak me out a bit, gave me the chills.
She says he wore a bright blue shirt, tan jeans, trying, she believes, to blend in.
It looked like he possibly didn't eat or anything, because he did look a little skinny and dehydrated. It didn't look like he really took care of himself.
As she started cutting his hair, brushing through what she describes as matted strands and dry scalp, a chilling thought crossed her mind.
That's when I'm like, oh, what if,
This guy's a chia pet. Look at this shit.
I'm like, oh, what if, I just, in my mind, I said, what if this was the guy they're looking for?
Moments later, undercover detectives walked through the door.
When the detectives came in and took him, I decided not to sweep up the hair just in case they needed it. And they said they needed the hair. And so they took that evidence.
In the days since, Adriana says she's needed time to process what happened.
I feel like the vibe would be a little different now after what happened. If I come to work, I'm afraid, if someone walks in, you never know who can walk into an establishment.
But it's the 2 little girls who escaped that day and their parents who stay on her mind.
Thinking about what happened, I'm very saddened for the...
Yeah, you just can't make this stuff up, right? Like, getting arrested while getting a haircut. That's weird. I only go to salons for Manny's and Betty's. What a dope. If you want to buy, please stay home and buzz your own hair. Absolutely. Whatever you do, don't get your wife to cut your hair.
2 little girls, I believe the heroes are the 2 little girls and the parents that tried to defend and take care of those little girls.
Well, this morning, that stylist shaken but safe, haunted by the feeling she couldn't explain until it was too real.
Unbelievable.
Time now for our social story.
All right, so he's caught. I'll keep following that. But I can pretty much guarantee how that's going to go. It's just sad. It's very sad, but what are you going to do? These poor kids, they're going to have to live their entire life without their parents. Not just that, just having to go through that ordeal to, just never, ever forget that for sure. But I sent some to them. And I'll probably send a little bit more next month. All right, so here we go with these people here. This is what I mean. It's been a pretty crazy week. A lot of just really stupid unalivings, right? Not stupid, but just bizarre. These cases are just bizarre. So this was done 11 hours ago. Police are searching for suspects after an infant was abandoned on a stranger's lawn, and its family was found unalived several miles away. Austin Drummond is now wanted in multiple charges, including 4 counts of first-degree murder and aggravated kidnapping. And I believe they actually have 2 other people in custody already. So let's play this here. I don't know if you guys have been following this, but this is just another one of those. Why? This is in Tennessee, by the way. And I had flight radar for the helicopters pulled up before, but I don't think they're looking out there now. So,
Stranger's property. Then, in another county, the bodies of 4 people are recovered. Is there a connection?
This is our buddy Vinny.
Is there a killer on the loose? Tonight, all the latest from this breaking story out of Tennessee.
I'm Vinny Politan. Thank you so much for joining us tonight here on Closing Arguments. And I remember growing up, and I don't know how many times I saw it on TV shows, cartoons, and other places, and in just stories about the old baby found on a doorstep, right? Someone opens their door and there's a baby there. Oh my goodness, where did this baby?
The thing is that this guy, the last guy, you never know what he's capable of. You know, if he can do that, he can do anything. So I'm just glad he's off the street at this point. It's better for everybody. Look at this baby in a basket. That's
baby come from? And growing up, I never really thought that much about it. I was like, do people actually do that? Like, why would someone do that? Well, guess what happened in Tennessee? A real baby was left at a stranger's home. A beautiful little baby. Now, at first you think about the story and the baby was unidentified and you think about it like, wow, that's horrible. That's horrific. But then I take a step back and I'm like, a lot of times when we're dealing with perhaps a young parent who doesn't want to be a parent and has a baby, we've covered that story so many times. So it's not that story. So I'm like, okay, maybe there is some silver lining to this story involving an unidentified baby. We just have to find out who this baby is, who this baby belongs to, and try to figure out why the baby was left at this stranger's home. So while that mystery is going on in Tennessee, there's another mystery unfolding in another county pretty close by, a horrific death scene. 4 people dead. And you've got one.
This is absolutely horrible. This case is terrible, terrible, terrible.
Case here, another case there, both mysteries, both extremely serious. And everyone's wondering, is there a connection? Is there a connection between this unidentified baby and these 4 bodies that were found? And tonight it's looking like there is a connection. Let's bring in Court TV field reporter Cody Thomas joining us in studio. This story, everyone is talking about it tonight, Cody. So let's get, what is the latest that we know? And is there a definitive connection between this baby that is left and these 4 bodies that were recovered?
Well, Vinny, the short answer is yes, that there is a connection, but I'll walk you through how we got there. So this is a multi-agency investigation that happened all.
I like Vinny. He, I didn't like him in the beginning, but you know, he kind of makes it. I don't want to say superficial, but he has a way of saying things sometimes.
All yesterday, Tuesday of this week, in Lake County in Dyer County, Tennessee. That's all in northwestern Tennessee. This 7-month-old baby, just 7 months, not even a year old yet, Vinny. Her name was Wesleyan. She was abandoned and just dropped off in a random stranger's yard just after 3 p.m. in broad open daylight. And of course, that guy called 911, which got the investigation going. Now, this all happened where she was dropped off in Tigrit, Tennessee. That's in Dyer County. We have a map here showing you That's the map of Tennessee here. Tigritt in Dyer County was only about 40 miles away from where those other 4 bodies were found up in Tiptonville, Tennessee. That's in Lake County. They're neighboring counties not too far away, 30, 40 miles away, only about a 40-minute drive. Now, Vinny, let me walk you through the timeline of the events that happened yesterday that led to this baby getting found and those 4 bodies being discovered. So, as I had just mentioned, just after 3 p.m., the baby was found in a stranger's yard, Little Westland, and 911 was called. 5:10 p.m., the Dyer County Sheriff's Office releases a statement saying they're looking for 3 people, a man by the name of Matthew Wilson, a woman named Adriana Williams, and another woman named Courtney Rose. Now, just before midnight, Vinny, Dyer County Sheriff's Office releases another statement saying 4 bodies were found further north in Lake County. And Vinny, to confirm that connection, the District Attorney, Danny Goodman Jr., he serves in both Dyer and Lake County. He confirmed that these were all family members related to the baby. So, and 3 of those 4 bodies that were found were the 3 names that I just mentioned. We have Matthew Wilson, 21 years old. That is the father of the baby. Adriana Williams, 20 years old. That is the mother of the baby. Courtney Rose, 38, the maternal grandmother, and Braden Williams, 15, the maternal uncle. And Vinny, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation confirmed that this is a homicide investigation, and there is also an active GoFundMe page created by what seems to be a friend of Matthew Wilson, the baby's father, where general donations are being given, you know, to go along with funeral costs and what have you, dealing with this horrendous tragedy here.
Absolutely. And the baby's alive, and everyone's trying to put the pieces together. Like, why was the baby spared? What is the connection to what happened here? Why was the baby left where the baby was left? Cody, thanks so much. Let's bring in another guest. Joining me now is an anchor for KFVS. Jeffrey Bullard is with us. Jeffrey, thank you so much for joining us. What can you tell us about the scene where these 4 victims were found?
So thank you very much for having me. First off, I also want to mention where we were at. It was Carrington Road, which is just a 2-minute drive to the nearby correctional facility. This Carrington Road, it was almost like a cul-de-sac, but it was so wooded, couldn't see from our drone just where the police were going. You could tell that it was in the woods, but you couldn't exactly tell where exactly those officers were. We were told on scene that it was a fairly large crime scene that they were investigating. Fast forward to around 4:30, we're getting ready to go live for our 5 o'clock live shot, and all of a sudden you see 2 Department of Transportation wreckers pull out a black Dodge Charger and a white SUV from what appeared to be the crime scene. So they couldn't comment on if those vehicles were exactly related. We do know it was pulled from the area of the crime scene in that nearby wooded area. But there are so many unknowns about the situation that I think really intrigues people, because, you know, it's our job to report real for them. We spoke to several neighbors who are just absolutely it's so shocking. You don't think something like that happens in your backyard, you know?
Absolutely. So do we know any details about how the victims died? And is this an active search for a killer tonight?
So the person in charge of the TBI, at least the communications person that we spoke to, they were telling us that they're still looking for, and they very intentionally said suspect or suspects. Somebody's out there still, long story short, from what we're being told at the moment.
And have they said anything about little baby Wesleyan, about why they believe she was spared?
Terrible. Just, you know, people are crazy, bro.
Or how the timeline of when the baby was left and when the victims were killed?
I know it's very, you have so many questions, and we had so many questions whenever we were at the press conference, just trying to get a better understanding. They were basically telling us it's still under investigation. They weren't too clear with any answers as well. Back to your other questions that I accidentally skipped forward, the cause of death is still under investigation as well. So it's not entirely clear what everybody was doing out in this wooded area, because whenever, like I mentioned earlier, that cul-de-sac, it goes into a bike trail that goes on near Reelfoot Creek. And so there's not a lot out there. It's mostly wood. So it makes you certainly wonder why they were out there. That's still an unknown. There's a lot of unknowns right now.
Absolutely. And we're looking at the video. Thank you so much. As we look at that video, and we can see it's verbal, I assume, right? It's consistent with what we're seeing here. So there wouldn't necessarily be surveillance cameras anywhere. A lot of the cases we cover here at Court TV, there's ring cameras, there's surveillance cameras, there's traffic cameras. Describe the area for us and your thoughts about the opportunity for there to be any sort of video that could be useful here.
Well, that's a really great point that you make up. Whenever we were telling neighbors about just kind of what was going on, because some of them were looking outside, seeing all these police cars, wanting to know what was going on. They didn't have camera footage. The closest nearby camera footage that there might be would be at the nearby correctional facility. But this is really, I mean, when you look at this as a person, it scares you. I mean, you go out there and you think, okay, there's no cameras around. It makes you wonder why there wasn't cameras there, you know?
Absolutely. And final question, I know you have to go. Jeffrey, you mentioned it's near a correctional facility. There's no indication, because a lot of people are thinking, did someone escape from the correctional facility? Is that what we're talking about here? There has not been any information like that that's been made public, or any talk of that, has there?
No, not that we've been made aware of. We just noticed whenever we talk about the location, it's about a 2-minute drive on Carrington Road. You actually split onto Carrington Road at the correction.
I'm wondering if you left the baby there by accident. Because I thought the baby was left on the doorstep, but according to this reporting, the baby was left just in the yard. So maybe he just left the baby behind by accident. I mean, how many people have almost done that before? Like they just, they go to pack the car and they just leave the baby in the car seat in the house.
Facility. So nobody has brought that up, at least to my knowledge, if it has anything to do with an injury or anything like that.
All right, Jeffrey Bullard, KFVS, thank you so much. I'm sure we're going to be on this story a lot, and we hope you can join us again. We appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
All right, let's bring in our think tank. Joining us live in studio tonight, criminal defense attorney, former state attorney in Miami-Dade, former assistant DA in Atlanta, Daryl.
I love this guy. This guy's wicked funny. The guy with the glasses here.
Cohen, criminal defense attorney, law professor Meg Strickler, and criminal defense attorney, the man behind the glasses, Josh Schiffer. This is a mystery. This is a mystery. I mean, we've got two significant events. They are connected. They are related. How and why, we don't know.
But remember, the baby was deposited randomly on someone's lawn. That we know.
It appears it's random.
It appears random. There appears to be no connection. And then there are 3 bodies of the baby's relatives. I immediately go to the murder-suicide family drama that we see in domestic violence cases.
4 bodies, because there's a 15-year-old uncle also.
Yes, 15-year-old uncle. It's immediately where my mind goes, is that someone associated with this.
But they're looking for a suspect or suspects.
Oh, they're still out there. They took the baby, dropped off the baby, and are on the road.
So it's not, you don't believe it's anyone that's at the house?
No.
It's like someone at the house could have dropped the baby off first, and then...
There's the possibility.
What? Hey, Nicole, good to see you. Did I say hi earlier? I might have said hi earlier. I don't know. I'm 51 now, and I've slowed down a bit. I'm a guy. I have no idea what's going on in chat.
Either deposit the baby and then do the murder-suicide. But I think with what it appears to me, it would be go to commit the crime, take the baby, and then leave the baby somewhere ostensibly safe. I don't know how safe someone's finding.
It's a very confusing. Too much speculation. Yeah. We need to know
well, someone cared about the baby. Someone cared about the baby because if this is a murder, right? If this is homicide, murder, whatever happened there, if the baby stays there in this remote area, they may never find the body for days and that baby will die. Even if the killer doesn't take the life of the baby will just die, right? So someone cared enough to get the baby out of there and put the baby in a place where the baby would be found.
I agree with Meg and Josh. I think this is self-inflicted, but...
What do you mean self-inflicted?
I think someone self-inflicted murder on him or her, and then, but before that, murdered the other 3 people. But
So we're looking for a ghost right now.
Well, right now, we need to find out what the cause of death was. Once we know what the cause of death was, we can begin to speculate with a little more accuracy. Right now, we're PFA. We're picking from air, and we don't want to do that. What we do know is we've got a healthy baby. We're fortunate. We do know there are 4 people deceased.
So where does the investigation go? Let's talk about that. So if you're looking for someone, you're looking for a motive, trying to figure this out, where are they going? Are they diving into the cell phones of these
Definitely
family
looking at the
members?
cell phones, all
They've
the
got to be talking to
messages.
other relatives to see
Yes.
if there's anything going on.
And the cameras. They're going to look at the video surveillance of whatever they can find.
Yeah,
for
I don't
video
know how many
surveillance to give you a
cameras
timeline of what they can see, because there will be some.
Does this sound maybe like a drug thing? Is that a possibility in this thing here? This could be a drug thing.
Video somewhere within that
And last
day.
known contact with
You
the
got it.
victims.
And
Yep.
it's
Yep.
things like the highway videos. You
Yes.
see these flock cameras and cameras
Yes.
scanning license plates. They create these giant databases so they can say, oh, here's a relative's car that was moving in this direction. And Daryl's right. The investigation is going to show us. From what I heard from the report was that it was kind of a big crime scene. That makes me immediately think of a case that I worked on where there was an attack with some chasing going on. And it wasn't walking into a room with all 3 victims. It was a seek and find, which makes things look really messy. And then what if a baby wasn't supposed to be there and is? You don't want to be with a baby on the run. I've seen Raising Arizona. That is not the way that you really want to go escape having committed
Right, but
a
this
crime.
was like cold-blooded assassin type person. Everyone would be dead. The baby would still be there. The baby would likely be dead. The bodies wouldn't be found for days. The only reason they found the bodies so quickly was because they found the baby.
Yeah.
Like from the baby, they were looking for 3 adults. They were looking for mom, dad, and grandma. So how do you think they figured that out in 2
So maybe
hours?
that's what the issue is
there-
they're trying to figure out the baby. I apologize.
No,
Harold.
I was going to say there may very well be video. If the person who committed the murder, he or she may very well have used his or her camera on his or her phone to video this. We don't know. What we do know is we've got a live baby and 4 victims.
Right, but we also have it seems it's 2 hours between the discovery of the baby.
Or it could be, when I see stuff like this, I first think drug, D-R-U-G, or it could be just maybe a mistaken identity unaliving, like it's just the wrong house. Who knows?
And then putting the word out that we're looking for these 3 adults. Like, how do police figure out that the baby's connected to those 3 adults?
But
We're talking
that's
about
what I-
40 miles
But
away.
maybe there was somebody who saw it, heard it, something like this, and then did not want to get
Saw or
involved.
heard what?
Gosh knows what happened. We don't know what happened. But maybe they saw it, heard it, were involved with it in some which way. I don't know. But maybe that's who they're looking for, is the person that delivered the baby.
And there may very well have been something attached to the baby or in the baby's crib that said
That would
her
lead to
name
the
is
parents.
X.
Yeah.
We just
But it
don't
was,
know.
it was
Yeah.
mom, dad, and
Yeah, it's true. It's possible that this was some sort of scuffle at the house, and then somebody else was there. They didn't have anything to do with it. They just took off, fled, and took the baby with them. Who knows?
grandma specifically they were looking for, right? 40 miles away, 40 minutes away, in the middle of nowhere, right?
And we don't know what connection they have to this land necessarily. Is this a random piece of land, or is this someplace that they're known to frequent, inhabit, live? There's a lot of investigation that's going to come out. It is quick.
I think if you want to wear makeup, go right the hell ahead. If you don't, don't. I mean, it's just a choice, right? Peaches for free.
Putting together the dots, though, that 40 miles and a baby without a name, it's pretty tough to identify a baby. They don't answer questions very easily.
They don't.
No.
One more fly in the ointment. We know it's near a penal institution. Is that for misdemeanors? Is it for felonies? Has there been an escape? Do we know? We
If there was an
don't.
escape, they would have to tell us, right?
At
They have to make that public, wouldn't they?
At some point.
They would have locked down that facility in the first moment they found out about a murder
I
2
agree.
minutes away. That facility
Yeah.
gets the red button and it's
So you're
on
taking that
lockdown.
off the table, but you're thinking you're not taking it off the table.
No, I'm not taking anything off the table yet.
Until we hear.
Yeah.
Smart.
Until we hear.
That's not. It's too much speculation right now.
To me, the timing, I still don't.
I do want to thank everybody for coming tonight. You guys are all awesome to sit around in my chat and listen to my bullshit for any reason is good. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much.
I don't know how you go from baby to we know who the baby belongs to that quickly.
That's a big jump.
I don't
real
think
quick.
so. I think
It
there
would be a
was
big jump
something
if they were
left.
next door neighbors, like the
But
neighbor
there's
says, "Oh
something
yeah,
left.
that's
Yeah,
I
so-and-so's
think
baby."
there was
Something with the
some
baby, like you
forensic
said.
evidence left with
Yes.
that baby identifying that child.
Yep.
That's why your mom put that sticker on all your clothes. man.
Precisely.
That's how it works.
I don't know.
I'm chipped.
That's your
Do you
kid's
think the
picture.
killer knew that by leaving the baby there, that they were going to find the bodies quicker?
There's probably like I think
You're-
Dallas
you're-
said like a note was there or
Yeah.
some sort of indication with the baby that made them be able to leap very quickly.
And really, are you going to try to ascribe logic to someone who part of their day involved depositing a baby on a lawn? They're not necessarily.
No, but there is
logical.
some logic here because that person took the time.
That's a fact right there. If a man likes you, it doesn't matter what you wear as long as you're willing to take it off. Oh, thank you, Nicole. Thank you, Heather. Heather's amazing. Southern Gal, you're awesome. All right, let's get out of this here because they're just kind of laughing about this. I want to play one more thing on this, but I don't want to take too long on this, so I might double back. Oh, hold on. Actually, let's fast forward this.
Family in that case.
But they're so young.
This
All
is
of
a
those
really
people
young
are
family.
So young.
And it's impossible to speculate as to what somebody's burden is.
Should
on
the
any
public
one
be
day.
scared tonight? The folks
No.
who live in the
No.
area.
Absolutely no.
You know
Not
it's
at all.
directed.
Yeah.
It's
This is
directed.
very specific.
Yes.
I think it's
Not a madman.
No.
maybe madman or
Yeah,
mad
true.
person,
But it's
not
directly related to the
anything
family.
to do with the public.
Not a
as to
serial
its
killer,
duration.
not a
No.
random
No.
killer.
No, not at all.
And I bet you the social media of all of those individuals will give some information that'll be very useful. I don't know what it'll be, but it'll be on because they're also young. They're going to be out there on
You're
Snap,
eliminating an
Discord.
entire family.
I know, literally.
I wonder if this could have been a botched abduction of the baby, and they just botched it. All right. So what was I going to do? I wanted to play one more of that. This is too long here. So I'll double back on that because I want to play this. This is what I wanted to get to tonight. This is part of the missing here. And this is an update in this case here because we've done a couple of different lives on this here. This is about Jared McCullough. Remember him? We've done a few lives on this guy here. He's been missing since for a while. I forget the actual details in this 2023 missing case. Remember, he was going to help his son out in I believe Indiana. Was it Indiana? And he went missing along the check it out, Wabash River. And his truck was abandoned and his dog was so this is exclusive photos of the missing man's truck and dog. So News Nation, Marty Hughes continues to examine the disappearance of Jared McCullough, father of four, who vanished during a cross-country trip from Louisiana to Illinois. His truck was found abandoned, doors open with gas, without gas, and with his two loyal dogs. I didn't know it was without gas. McCullough's mother, who has been searching for her son ever since, revealed new photos to News Nation exclusively that show a discrepancy between where police marked her son's vehicle as found and the actual spot where the truck was located. So this is really strange because I thought that his truck was found on the Indiana side of the Wabash River, but now they're saying it was found on the Illinois side. So here, let's play this. Here, let's back up. Nope, let's play it right here.
Rusty, or excuse
Do you guys remember this case?
me, with Jared the day he vanished. Both found waiting obediently in the truck for Jared to return, but he never did. And now newly released police photos are helping Jared's mom pinpoint the exact spot that his truck was found.
Nothing about this scene makes sense to Tammy Rapond. Her son's 3-year-old truck, ignition on, out of gas, battery dead in a remote spot to which he has no ties. Both drivers' side doors open, free to run off. Instead, his dogs waiting faithfully inside.
It makes me feel more after seeing the truck that Jared didn't bring the truck there.
Since November 2023, Tammy's endured life without Jared McCulloch, her last living son. He took an unscheduled trip from Marion, Louisiana to Sandoval, Illinois to help his teenage son.
Get him, Roxy May.
Roxy May and Rusty, his faithful companions along on the trip.
The dogs always went everywhere with him. It was his co-pilots.
With those
Jared McCullough's mom? That's my dog.
co-pilots at his side, Jared traveled throughout the night, rivaling the skills of a trained detective. Tammy pieced together a detailed timeline of Jared's journey, getting the receipt for his gas in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, even the menu of his meal at the next stop. Pictures from the owners of Huck's, where Jared fueled up at 2 a.m. in Salem, Illinois. Surveillance video of his truck leaving the gas station, then making a U-turn after receiving a text. Another fuel stop at 5 a.m.
I would be the exact same way if it was my son.
Terry Bonvicio now travels with Tammy every time they search, fighting for attention on Jared's case. She says these new photos of the truck recovery spot reveal trouble with the initial sheriff's search.
We were able to pinpoint exactly by the picture exactly where that truck was parked, and it was nowhere near the marking. They had some dogs out there and did a search last year, and they marked some trees and poles of where the truck was, and it was not where the truck was.
Now that you know that exact spot, you know, we were out there with metal detectors, and of course I didn't bring a shovel because I didn't expect anything, you know, and just hoping just for some kind of sign, like find his dog tags, find the things that were in his pocket, just something. And we were talking to Jared quite a bit while we were out there.
Tammy has played and replayed that last known video of Jared at a gas station in Carmi, Illinois. The pump gives him trouble. He leaves the dogs for a quick minute to go inside and pay in cash. Tammy has tracked down just about everyone in the checkout line to see if they saw anything helpful.
See this guy here? I always look at the people in the store. You never know what they're up to.
But not all will talk to her.
Paying with cash, so it's, you know, you never know. This, what did she say this was? This was in, I know this stuff here because I got it somewhere.
Inside and pay in cash. Tammy has tracked down just about everyone in the checkout line to see if they saw anything helpful. But not all will talk to her. After Jared fuels up, he turns left, and east, and then north, away from his destination.
If I would have ran into Jared at any of his stops, I would be so ready to speak to the mother or whoever wanted to speak to me and give as much help as I possibly could.
Terry and Jared's mom find so many oddities with his abandoned truck. Expensive tools, not stolen. And this, a pack of cigarettes in the back seat door, where only the dogs sit, and without Jared's customary lucky cigarette inside. Scratch marks in the interior dust of the back window. Missing Jared's pliers, flashlight, vape, and cell phone. A phone which Tammy and her husband are still paying for, hopefully keeping the line active.
I can't explain why it was important to me, but let's just say if Jared had went to heaven at that spot, I wanted to know the exact spot, and finding that exact spot meant that his truck and dogs were at least made a lot of difference to me.
And an update from the Knox County, Indiana detective working this case. He tells us they are now working with the Mount Carmel Police Department in Illinois as they search for Jared. Joining us now is Tammy, Jared's mom.
Is she saying Carmel, Illinois, or what is she saying? I should probably put this. I get so frustrated sometimes when I can't hear shit.
And an update from the Knox County, Indiana detective working this case. He tells us they are now working with the Mount Carmel Police Department in Illinois as they search for Jared. Joining us now is Tammy, Jared's mom. Tammy, welcome back and thank you. I'm so glad that we're covering this case again, because it sounds like through your own detective work, you've been able to uncover some pretty significant new information. Let's start with any new leads.
As far as leads, we've had the blessing of having Mike Hadsell there a couple weeks ago to help us in Illinois searches.
Thank you,
we're
Tracy.
narrowed down places that need to be searched. So at least we're leaning towards Illinois a little bit more, and everything directs to the fact that whatever happened in Illinois.
Tracy's amazing. Okay, so she's whatever happened in Illinois. Why did he go left? I don't understand that though.
Bit more, and everything directs to the fact that whatever happened in Illinois.
Okay, so as we look at Jared's truck, and this team is from Peace River Canine Search and Rescue Association. There's some video that they shared when they took their own dogs out there to look. I want to play that for a moment.
Okay, here's the site that we're at. This is where the dog has taken me. Here by the Wabash River. I think this is actually a creek that feeds into the Wabash. Not sure if there's a grave shaft here or not, but it could be where foul play happened. They could have had, it looks like there's cans and stuff here. Could have been a party.
Don't you hate when they don't tell you where they're at? Where is this?
That went wrong.
So Tammy, tell me what we're seeing right there. Is that video in Illinois?
Exactly. She froze up.
I think I froze up on you.
Oh, that's okay. So the video that we just saw from Mike, is that video that he took with his dog in Illinois? Help us understand what we're seeing.
Yes, ma'am. That would be in Illinois.
What county?
It's near the river, but it's not at the river. But
Okay.
it's near on the Illinois side.
On the Illinois side, and Knox County, Indiana is on the other side. Do you know what county this is in Illinois?
It would be Lawrence County.
Okay. And the
Thank you.
video that he shot with the dog, where he said he found some cans and, you know, the remnants of what looked like a party, how far is that from the original photos of where you thought Jared's truck was found?
I couldn't tell you. I mean, it'd be closer as the crow flies, but if you follow the road, it's going to be probably a good 25 miles.
Okay, wow, that's some distance. So what explanation do you have? Have police been able to offer as to these two differing locations potentially?
No, we kind of have a battle. I don't want to really say battle between, it's because we've got state lines, we've got different counties, we have multiple counties. Because the last place that he was seen on video there in Carmi, that's going to be White County. We've got records that show his phone at least traveling through Wabash County. The witness statement, that's Lawrence County. Then you go into Indiana, where now you have Knox County. So we have so many different counties involved that's why Terry and I have been fighting for, FBI, U.S. Marshals. I mean, we need somebody to be able to check out all these areas of interest, because reality is more people are going to talk to me before they talk to the police. So I usually get more information that they do. But I need somebody, a agency that can search out all the different locations of these.
Somebody who can lead that effort. As we look at Jared on one of the surveillance at the gas stations, and he fueled up in several spots. In the piece a moment ago, we mentioned that you guys have hit some roadblocks as to witnesses who may have been in there and their willingness to talk. Has it just been because they don't know anything, or because they could potentially be hiding something? What have been your interactions?
Peach preserves? You're making peach preserves? That's fantastic. Mount Carmel. I still don't know where the hell they are, so I'm just gonna. You're craving a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Sometimes there's absolutely nothing better than a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Well, that's probably good that you're gaining weight, right? Is that good? Or is that bad? Hoosier, both of them people lie and are fake. Where the hell am I? Right here. Okay, hold on. This whole exchange here, I don't know. It's weird. This whole exchange at this store.
Okay, I think I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. What have been your interactions with witnesses inside those gas?
What is he? He's just buying gas.
Gas stations at the several stops where Jared fueled up.
The one in Central City, he never fueled up entirely. It probably have been, I think I froze up again.
We can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
He never would have fueled up entirely, except for possibly whenever he got the $60 in fuel in Arkansas, that'd have been close to it. But that's Jared normally. But I've spoken to several people at the Salem. They were nice and they were helpful as much as they could be. Central City, he didn't speak to anybody. And then Carmine, I spoke to the manager that works there. And she told me the price of gas, so we knew exactly how many gallons of gas that he got on her. And she told me the price of gas, so we knew exactly. But that's Jared normally. But I've spoken to several people at the Salem. They were nice and they were helpful as much as they could be. Central City, he didn't speak to anybody. And then Carmine, I spoke to the manager that works there. And she told me the price of gas, so we knew exactly how many gallons of gas that he got on that day. But the gentleman that's standing directly behind him, I believe he's a preacher there in the Mount Carmel area, and he reached out through another one of our people on Finding Jared, and
You get a receipt for cash like that? That looks like, I don't know. I gotta stop talking. That looks like a debit receipt there, doesn't it? No? Isn't this a debit receipt total? Hold on a second. Can I? It's a credit card. That credit card. Does not say credit card right there. So this is gas, and did he come in and pay for something in cash? This is weird because this is a credit card or this is not a cash receipt here because it says card right there. So
another one of our people on Finding Jared, and he feels horrible about not, the would have, could have, what could I have done? But I haven't been able to speak to the couple that's behind them, behind the gentleman behind Jared. or the other gentleman that comes in later.
Yeah.
I've tried, but I haven't been able to speak to them yet.
His truck, Tammy, remind us what stands out to you as unusual about where it was found, what was found in it. And I've had some questions as I've covered this a few times on TikTok. People want to know about the dogs. Were the doors open and the dogs were still sitting in the car? Were the dogs closed in? What can you tell us about the truck and the dogs?
Well, according to the report that I have, and when Detective Carr went out there, the doors were open, as you see there. As far as the contents, those pictures there, that's after it was in the impound yard. The one I now have all of the pictures of inside and out. Things don't really make, like we mentioned the pack of cigarettes. The back window too, that back driver's side window, you could see is cracked. And the way when the truck was found,
Wow.
and both the driver and passenger side windows are fully up. That was not like Jared, because he did smoke the vapes. It gets smoky, and after smoking cigarettes prior to that, he always had the windows cracked when he drove, not the back window. So that to me was really odd. You can tell that something must have scared, I'm assuming, Roxy May, because I know how she is when she gets scared. She
Killed the bucket.
urinates, and
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes Cheerios are the best thing too. You can get a gas receipt at the pump as well. You can. I don't know, this whole thing. I've gone through this over this, and obviously they're screwing with me again on this thing here, this case here, because we've done 2 or 3 lives on this guy here. Missing man's mother uncovers details timeline.
and you can see a spot in the seat where one of the dogs did. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe Roxy May, and she got scared of something.
Okay. Did police, to your knowledge, scan the truck for any fingerprints? I mean, what type of evidence did they gather?
From what I'm told, there was no fingerprints done. They did take some DNA, I think, off of different areas of the truck. I believe the radio knob, maybe the gear shifter, and his shoes. But it's my understanding that they can't pull the DNA off of his shoes because it's fabric. I mean, I know it can be done. It just might be more costly.
Okay. And back to the truck and its location. Am I right to, did you say at one point you believe that based on where it was located, it might have been placed there? What leads you to believe that?
A lot of the locals in the area have reached out and talked to me, and that's
what I thought when I first did this case. The whole truck thing might have been parked there or left there, or I think that the truck location, I think, might be a little staged or just abandoned.
It's pretty much a known area.
I wonder if he went to a bar. I wonder if it's possible, before he, because they say he took a left, which is headed away from where he was intended to be going. So I wonder if he might have stopped at a bar, to have a couple of cold ones, that he might have gotten in trouble at a bar or something. And who knows?
Area for people to dump stolen vehicles, things of that nature, because from what they told me, that I'm quoting them, not myself, but Lawrence County and Knox County and Gibson County, Indiana versus Illinois, they don't work together. So when they don't communicate, it's an easy place to dump off stolen items. And one of our news interviews, I believe in April of 24 with a local station, I think she even shined the camera down on areas where you could see different four-wheeler parts that were kind of cut up in the woods there.
And as we've covered this story, there's a lot of people, and maybe you're finding this too, Tammy, that live in these areas that hadn't even heard of Jared's disappearance. How much coverage has it gotten in the area?
Not a whole lot. I think they have done well. Channel 14 has done amazing. Liz DeSantis out there anytime I'm in town or have any kind of an event. She's always quick to come out there and make sure Jared's name is, kept alive.
What was he doing?
His last seen, so missing November 5th, 2023. Last seen, Carmi, Illinois. Truck and dog found in Knox County, Indiana. So probably just over the line, right? So where are we? Hold on a second. Okay, so that makes more sense. All right, so hold on a second. I figured it out. I told you this was going to be this is a long one because there's so many things going on. So here's Carmi here. This is the Wabash here. This is Illinois, Indiana. This is, I think this is where he got the gas, right? And so this is where he was last seen. This is, I think I actually found this gas station that he was at. Driving transit. They won't give me gas stations. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Got the one there? Right there. Exxon? Was it Hux? Did they say Hux? That kind of looks like it there, maybe. Oh, I hate my life. They say the gas station. I've done all of this stuff. I should just go and look at some of my older. All right, let's go back to. Sorry about that. Last seen, Carmi, Illinois.
Traveling from Louisiana to Illinois, and did he know anybody in this area?
I think I froze up again.
Yeah, that's okay, Tammy. I was just asking. I know he was traveling to
Last seen, Carmi, Illinois. What's the Salem?
Illinois to see his teenage son. Did he know anybody in this particular area where he went missing? Did he have any contacts to your knowledge?
Shit. Last phone ping in St. Francisville, Illinois. So Salem, Illinois at 1:30. His vehicle 5:26 a.m. Seen probably in Carmel at 8. Is that 8:24 a.m.? So just about, he probably slept at a hotel. Well, he didn't go to a bar at 8:25 a.m., so that takes care of that problem. I don't know what that says. Last phone ping in St. Francisville, Illinois. So hold on a second. Okay.
Your knowledge? All right, I think we may have lost Tammy, but she got across some key information in the ongoing search for her son, Jared. Again, the Knox County detective working on this case tells us they are looking for additional information, and they're also now working with authorities in Illinois, in the Mount Carmel Police Department in Illinois. So if you know anything that can help investigators in this case, if you're from this area, please contact police. All right, next week in our listening series, a mother in Texas.
Have a good night, Jocelyn. I'm going to be getting out of here soon too. I just want to hold on a second because I hope you have a good week. Thank you so much, Jocelyn, for coming in. I really appreciate it. You're always welcome here. Jocelyn's amazing. So here's the Wabash River. This is the last cell phone ping. So his last cell phone ping was here in St. Francisville. Wow, that's far. So his last cell phone ping was up here. That's an hour. This is another one of these cases that's just really weird. Okay. So he's last seen here and all the way up here. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to go into this one too because there's the river right there. All right. Okay, so that's the end of that. I got a lot of work to do here. All right. Okay. All right, so I do want to do what did I just do with my face? Okay, sorry. This is another one of these doozy cases. This is weird. Okay. I did want to play a couple more things here, and then I'll get out of here. I wanted to play this. So we'll do this. Hold on a second. I won't do this tonight, but I'll do it next week. The OnlyFans model murder is back in the news again. They got more body cam footage. But I did want to play kind of disturbing video here. Karen Reed's in the news again. Intruder bit. Okay, so I'll play this one here first. There's that one there too. I mean, there's so many cases I could have covered tonight. It's just, there's Decker on body cam footage again, but I don't think that's real. I don't know where that went. I guess I could just look it up. All right, so we'll play this here. Right here. We'll play this one here. All right, so this is a cold case, 1985 cold case arrest here. This was done. Actually, I want to play this here. I'll do this. Sorry, my computer's slow right now. Okay, so this happened 10 days ago.
Of the arrest.
Okay, so this happened 10 days ago. I was going to play this one last week, but I didn't have enough time. Suspect arrested in 1984 cold case murder investigation. Shasta County Sheriff's Office held a press conference on Wednesday. It's announced that the investigators have made an arrest in connection to a RAPE and murder that took place in Bernie, California in 1984. So a long, long freaking time ago. So here's this here.
40 years, 7 months, and 5 days. That's the timeline from the time of the crime until the date of the arrest. In total, there was about 34 total investigators who have touched this case, worked on this case, or otherwise investigated in some fashion over those 40 plus years. Not to mention the countless number of support staff and other staff that have helped in some significant way in bringing this to resolution. And this resolution to this case is a bit bittersweet for us. Although it's a monumental accomplishment for the investigators, for the agency, and the closure and having a suspect in custody, it doesn't negate the fact that there's a family and families that have been forever impacted and will forever live with the trauma and the aftermath that was left behind for them. The assailants' attack in a rural Intermountain community rocked that community for several years. Community not knowing if a predator was still loose and in their community, or if it would ever come to any justice. We're very proud to have those things come to fruition today and going to be held to answer, and justice will be served. Ultimately, though, it is our hope that all those that were impacted can have some sort of closure and maybe reach some sort of level of healing now that that suspect is in custody. Thank you all for being here today. On December 14th, 1984, at approximately 11:25 p.m., the Shasta County Sheriff's Office was notified by the California Highway Patrol regarding a shooting victim that had been contacted at the intersections of Main and Marquette Streets in Bernie, eastern Shasta County. When sheriff's deputies arrived, they found a vehicle at this intersection parked in the roadway with a male gunshot victim inside the vehicle. That victim's name was Terrence Arden, also known as Terry. Terry was just 18 years old at the time. Also on scene was a female victim. The female victim, also only 18 years old at that time. Terry was immediately rushed to a local hospital, but unfortunately did not survive his injuries. As the investigation unfolded, it was learned that night, Terry and the female victim were parked in Terry's vehicle on Mountain View Boulevard in high school. An unknown person pulled up in the vehicle. Neither Terry nor the female victim knew who this person was or of this person. The confrontation occurred, and during the attack, Terry tried to lay and cover the female victim from harm and was subsequently shot.
Unbelievable. The
attacker, a male armed with a gun, removed the female victim from the vehicle and sexually assaulted her several times. Leaving her for dead, he fled the scene. With Terry critically injured, this female had the wherewithal to get in the vehicle and drive the vehicle into town looking for help. That's where she ended up at that intersection. At the time of the crime, an extensive investigation pursued, and there was thousands of hours of investigation, a lot of people interviewed. detectives, crime scene investigators, DA's office, everybody involved in the community trying to pitch in and locate the suspect or suspect of this heinous crime. Last year, the case was revisited utilizing new DNA techniques known as forensic genetic genealogy through a company called Othram. This was a breakthrough for the case, and it is because of the relentless efforts and pursuit by Detective Sergeant Robert Richardson that this DNA was processed and this case was pursued. It is extremely expensive to do this sort of genetic DNA genealogy, and it is not it's not a finality. It's not as simple as pulling DNA, the matching DNA, and you're done with the case. This was opened up a whole new avenue to the investigation, which ultimately led to the suspect's arrest. Through this, the Roads of Justice grant program, which was pursued by Othram, was the way that we got the initial funding. And then the other funding came later for the rest of the DNA. The suspect was identified and through the familial tree as Roger Neil Schmidt Sr., who at the time of the crime was 23 years old. Detectives, through some good old-fashioned investigative work, determined that he had in fact lived in Boerne at the time of the crimes and time of the murder, and started working the case backwards. They ultimately discovered that he being Roger Schmidt, was alive and in Tucson, Arizona. On July 16th, 2025, Detective Sergeants Robert Richardson and Jacob Duncan, accompanied by the Senior Deputy District Attorney Kelly Kafel from the Shasta County District Attorney's Office, traveled out to Tucson to complete their investigation. Detectives coordinated with the Tucson Police Department and were in pursuit of a search warrant to get the DNA from Schmidt. That search warrant was ultimately signed, and his DNA was collected. The DNA was compared to the evidence collected from the female victim the night she was assaulted. And on the night of July 17th, it was confirmed the DNA matched.
I love cereal too. I just can't eat it anymore because I can't drink milk. I drank way too much beer in my life to drink milk.
Matched suspect Roger Schmidt Sr.'s profile. On Friday, June 18th, an arrest warrant was issued by the Shasta County Superior Court judge for the arrest of Schmidt. On Saturday, June 19th, Roger Neil Schmidt Sr. was arrested, interviewed by detectives, and subsequently booked into the Pima County Jail for the murder of Terry Arndt, the sexual assault of the female victim, and other related felony charges. An extradition date is currently being worked on, and we should have him back in Shasta County soon.
So that's the end of that. I didn't know I was here so late. Sorry about that. Got one more to play, and then I'll get out of here. It's a quick one. This is another cold case thing. You have ideas for my eventual channel, but I need to get a GoPro type camera. I'll record. That would be awesome. That would be amazing. I would definitely subscribe to that. Don't take DNA test if I have sketchy cousins like I do. This fucking classic. All right, so we'll play one more and I'll get out of here. You guys have been very patient with me tonight. These cases bother me because it's just like there's just very little information, and then I try to do everything here on the live and I can't do it. So this is another cold case here. Mother, 8-year-old daughter unalived in a still unsolved 1992 arson fire. Police in Baltimore County are still piecing together a deadly arson case which claimed the lives of a mother and a young daughter more than 3 decades ago. In May 1992, a fire tore through an apartment building in Hadwick Drive in Essex. 8-year-old Victoria Gorecki and a 30-year-old mother, Mary Lee Gorecki, died of smoke inhalation, according to Baltimore police. Investigators determined the fire was intentionally set in the basement stairwell with a flammable liquid. The arson caused over $500,000 worth of Several people tried to go to the doors and tried to go outside feeling the heat. Many people jumped from the building and several people passing by actually tried to help people get out of that building. Said, okay, so 10 people were hospitalized with burns or injuries falling. Carter told WMAR in a June. So let's play this here and I'll get out of here.
Outside Baltimore County Police headquarters in Towson. In 1992, a mother and her daughter died in an apartment fire in Essex, and police believe the fire was intentionally set. The case files tell this story. Within them, desolate visuals. The aftermath of the May 1992 apartment fire 33 years ago. Neighbors at the Kings Mill Apartments on Hadwick Drive in Essex woke up to blaring alarms and smoke detectors.
Several people tried to go to their doors and try to get outside feeling the heat. Many people jumped from the building. And several people passing by actually tried to help people get out of that building.
Baltimore County Police Corporal Donna Carter says at least 10 people went to the hospital with burns or injuries from falling, but 8-year-old Victoria Garricky and her 30-year-old mother, Mary Lee, did not make it out.
Nice girl, really a nice girl.
The Garrickys lived on the second floor of their building. Carter says the fire began in the basement with a flammable fluid in the stairwell. When the dust settled, the damage totaled over $500,000. Carter tells us this was arson.
Wow.
There have been several people.
Well, that place is destroyed. Look at that. That's a fire.
Several people that have been interviewed and questioned throughout the years. There were some tips received about people who may have had domestic problems that lived in the building or other type of issues, but none of the leads actually took us to a suspect that was viable.
It's unclear at this point who the fire was targeting. It was a chaotic scene. Despite not having much to go on, police have stayed active in the case, especially recently.
So there's been significant activity on the case within the past year or two. There have been additional interviews that have been done that we were hoping would lead to a suspect or an arrest in this case. However, they have not led us there yet.
Police need your help, not just with finding who may have done this, but with obtaining a photo of Mary. If you can help, please contact Baltimore County Police at 410-887-3943. For Maryland Cold Cases, I'm Jack Watson. Thank you for watching this edition of Maryland.
Okay, so that's the end of that. I just wanted to bring that one up. That came in on my alerts earlier. So I wanted to play that. Pause. Okay, this is the one that I wanted to play here. Okay, so hold on one second here. This is what I was looking for earlier here. So one more thing and then I'll get out of here. But I want an opinion on this, I think, because this happened a few days ago. And they're saying that this was a possible abduction, and I probably believe so too. But I don't know. What do you think? Do you think this is a possible abduction, or do you think that this guy here was just trying to shut up? Trying to bring the kid to her mother. So I don't know if you guys have seen this yet. They're saying that this man tried to abduct a toddler in a shopping mall. Knock it off. Shiba. Cats are going crazy. So you'll see this little play area right here. There's a mall here. This is little play. I hate these little play areas in these malls because the father's in here apparently not watching the child at all in here. And the child is going to come out of here. The mother is in this shop here, shopping, right? In this little boutique here, whatever this place is. You're gonna see the daughter come out of here and just, I think the daughter's probably trying to go see mom. But this guy here is gonna come and grab the daughter here, but he's gonna bring her into the store here. So here we go.
Stop it.
See, it looks like she comes out here and she's gonna try walking. She doesn't know where her mom is, so she's probably gonna go in here. He does kind of go right to her though, so that's strange. Does that look like he's trying to, why would he walk into the, that's weird. Right? He does have, I think he's got a little bit of a record. He sat over here. She comes out, right? And then he literally just goes, I didn't see this part before. So he literally just, as soon as she comes out here, he gets up and heads out. The father's in here somewhere on his phone, not even paying any attention to the daughter at all. So, I mean, he comes out here and like makes a beeline right for, and this other lady that kind of comes strolling across here, kind of, maybe that's why he went into the store first. He goes and takes a left here and he sits, does he sit down? Yeah, he sits down right there. But then she comes out and he immediately just gets up and starts walking back out. It's weird. That is crazy, right? That's strange. Yeah, it's that is so, he picked her up immediately. That's abduction. Yeah. He saw her wander off and took advantage. Good night, Mustang. Have a good night. He probably told her to walk out there. You think that's abduction? It's weird how he goes into the store though. It seems like he takes her into the store. deep into the store, right? So it's but she's lucky. I mean, I didn't see him go sit down here, so I didn't see that in the beginning, but he goes in here and sits right in this little whatever here. I hate these little play areas, man, because there's no, and the father's in here somewhere on his phone and he's not even paying attention at all. So I'm gonna just. So at this point, he's right there. You can see his shirt there. This is just scary, man. This is, ugh. I never took my eyes off my kids for 1 second, man. You just can't. Split second, that's all it takes. This guy's in here playing on his phone or something in here. Ugh. Yeah, he just. He doesn't even know his. You see, the thing is, like, he just comes in here. He doesn't. Yeah, that's. Oh, that's awful. That's terrible. But good news is that he didn't. So, that's the good news. Okay, I'm gonna get the hell out of here. Sorry, I just wanted to play that. I tell you, it's. I mean, I don't want to blame parents for things like that because you should be able to. You should be able to, but not just that. The abduction stuff. It's just. I'm telling you, I never took my eyes off my kids for 1 second, man. I used to watch my kids ride their bikes and everything because you can't trust anybody, man. It's just not a good idea. All right, so that's it for me. I'm going to get out of here. I want to thank everybody for coming in. Nicole Watt, you're awesome. Thank you so much. Fur Baby Daddy, thank you. Charles, thanks a lot, man. Sweet Dude Shibby, thanks for coming in. You guys are awesome. Beasley, thank you so much. I know JCN, I know Big Fish was here. I know Mustang was here. I know Paula was here. Who's your daddy? Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it. Southern Gal, you're awesome. Thank you guys all for putting all the stuff in the chat. Heather, we love you. I hope you have a good week. It's always good to see you. I'll see you around anyways on other chats. Tracy, thank you so much. Tracy's amazing wealth of information. I know Karen Lee was in here. I'm not going to say goodnight to everybody because I've been here almost 4 hours. But you guys have been all awesome. Hoosier, thanks a lot. Mustang, thank you. Let's see here. I know Mino Dino was in there. Mino Dino's awesome. Fur Baby Daddy, thank you so much. But I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to play my outro and get out of here. You guys are great. Don't die. Whatever you do, don't die. Stay safe this week. One more thing. I'm going to be making my football predictions pretty soon, but that's going to be on my other channel for the year. So I will. Yes, I saw that Boston Marathon Bomber thing you sent me. I'll probably have to play that next week. I'm running out of time. So let me play my outro and I'll get out of here. You guys have been great. Have a great week, everybody. Stay safe. Let's do this one here. Take care, guys.